very calming. It's very nice. We just finished a project using that color, and it turned out great. The customer loved it.
I love the names that they come out with these paints.
Yeah.
Quietude.
Oh, yeah.
What's the other one? Cinnamon Slate.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's even with whites. Like you've got your straight white, and then there's 1,000 off-whites with 1,000 different names, and that generally drives our clients nuts trying to pick a white. But we're always happy to help them with that as well.
You see, it drives everybody nuts except for my wife, who loves. She'll look at all of them and hold them up, and I can't see the difference, but she does, and that's what matters, right? So.
Yeah. As long as she likes it, you're good to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to painting a house, I know a lot of times we see people spraying a house or spraying versus the roller painting.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Why would somebody spray or roll, and in what situations?
So yeah, we definitely do both. When it comes to working with contractors, builders on new builds, like we spray everything. We'll mask off the windows. Usually there's no floors or furniture or anything in there. So we'll spray the primer, we'll spray the ceilings. If they're going with one color throughout the whole house, we sometimes spray the walls, but we do always back roll it, because when it comes time to brush and roll everything, then you want to have that same texture and consistency for the event that we have to do touch-ups or whatnot. It does make things a little easier throughout the job. But spraying's definitely faster. We spray any chance we get, and it does leave a very nice fine finish. So, you know, we try to spray our trim, our doors. Anytime we're working with cabinetry, we definitely spray our cabinetry, and it just leaves that nice glass factory finish. We can take an old kitchen that, you know, was wood, it's been around for years, and we will, you know, wash it, sand it, and spray it, and we can basically make it look like it was made yesterday.
That's very popular right now. One tip for the homeowners out there: if you're thinking of selling but you don't have the money to do a complete home renovation, one thing you can do is just spray the cabinets white or something like that, or maybe Quietude or so, I don't know, whatever the popular color is, just to make it look new and modern, refresh it, and that'll help you, you know, cheaper way to get a higher resale price. But Mike, thank you so much for having us here today. Truly appreciate it.
Pleasure.
I've seen your help wanted sign.
There are two wolves inside every man. One is obsessed with watching movies. The other is addicted to opening booster packs.
And you can watch both of them on Cable 14. Are you a card shark or a movie buff? Or both? Now, why not check out Breaking Pack every Monday at 8:30 p.m. and Hammer Day 20 every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. starring yours truly, Steven Sobot, available only on Cable 14.
What an exciting segment that was on the road. Now we are in studio with Matthew Pickering from National Bank, where we're going to be talking all about renovation loans. Matt, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and appreciate the opportunity.
I think a lot of people don't know about it. I think we know because we're in the industry, but it's a pretty not very well-known program. Do you want to talk about exactly what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to me, it's just a program most banks offer. I really like National Banks where I work. It's just an underused program. So I always like to present it, go over kind of what your options are with it. Because a lot of things in today's world where, you know, you're buying a house that needs a fixer-upper, right? Or you need to maybe buy at a lower price to get it to the house that you want so you can do renovations, right? So the renovation loan's a great process. What we kind of look at is, you know, there's two ways we can kind of do this. Is purchase plus renovations, which is where you don't own the property and you're going to buy and put renovations into it. But let's say you already own the property and there's work you want to do. We would just go ahead and do the renovation loan. It's called a refinance plus renovation loan. It's more or less the exact same process. It's just whether do you own the property or not. So let's say, for example, we're going to look at purchase plus renovations. What that looks like is, you know, let's say you're buying something for $700,000 and you know, you're going to put the 20% down, but you want to put maybe 200,000 into this. You know, a lot of the renovation programs I have on the go is, you know, maybe I'm converting it to a duplex or a triplex. So if you want to kind of get into that real estate investor space, this is something for you. Even if you're, you know, a first-time home buyer or, you know, a couple looking to buy a house, but it looks like 1970s inside and you need to get rid of the pink carpet and the wallpaper, this is also an option for you, right? So it's something that we'll look at the purchase price plus while we're doing the application, we're going to demonstrate the cost of the renovations. So this can be a contract, an invoice. You have the option to do your own renovation. So let's say, for example, you know, you're going to project man it yourself and you have 3 different contractors, you have your own electrician, we can kind of have it in piecemeal. But if you also have, you know, one main general contractor, they can send you one invoice. What we're going to do is, again, going with the assumption is a purchase plus renovations, we're going to take a look at what the property value is. So we're going to do an appraisal and say, based off of the value today, the property value is $700,000. The appraiser is going to look at the renovation loan and the renovation contract and say, okay, we recognize you're putting, you know, $150,000 into it. Based off of the work you're doing, you know, the future value is X. So I would say the safe assumption is purchase price plus contract equals future value. We always got to be cautious, right? You buy something at $700,000, you put $500,000 into, and it's still a single family. Probably beautiful inside, but we also have to compare it based off of, you know, other things on the street, other comparables, right? So it's the dollar in isn't always dollar out, and sometimes it should be better, especially if you're doing a conversion. Let's say you're converting it to a duplex. Now you're in a different category. You should have a bit of a return on that renovation. So it's just a kind of a series of taking a look at, you know, what you're buying it for, what are you doing it for it, and it's the same idea. Let's say you own the property and you want to do a refinance plus renovation. We'll do that same appraisal, saying, okay, your current value today is $700,000. Now we recognize you're putting $150,000 into it. Now your future value is, you know, X amount. So what's nice is we get all this information before work is done. So it kind of allows you to say, do I want to go forward with this? Let's say my renovation, my future value is $800,000, but you know, $700,000 plus $150. You're like, I'm not getting the return I like here. You know, thanks, Matt, but we're going to pause. Maybe when the market picks up or we see more comparables, right? So it allows you kind of see what that value is before anything's signed with us. So it's a cool starting point.
Say they want to do like a $100,000 renovation. Does that get considered into how much they would then get approved for? Like, would that affect the purchase price?
Great question. So what I like to do is work backwards, right? So sometimes people say, hey, you know, I'm putting $200,000, $300,000 into this renovation. I should qualify because I'm putting work into it. I like working backwards in the sense of, let's say I approve you and you're good for a $900,000 purchase, or, you know, let's just talk in mortgage term, you're approved for $700,000 mortgage. If you're now going to say, okay, I'm good for $700,000, I'm going to buy property at $900,000, put my $200,000 down, but then I'm going to do additional renovations. Well, you don't qualify for more than $700,000 just because you're doing renovations. So in that example where we're saying, hey, you qualify for $700,000 mortgage, let's break down your options. Do you want to buy something at max purchase price and have no future equity available unless qualification changes? Or do you want to buy something maybe a little bit less? So let's say you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take maybe, you know, $550 for the purchase, and now I know I've $150,000 for the renovations, right? So now we can kind of slice it up based off of what you qualify. So to me, the first step is, what do you qualify for? And then once we know what that is, let's take a look at different properties. Sometimes the renovations will improve your qualification. So in that example, let's say you're buying a primary property, but now you're going to add a secondary unit, right? Whether it's an ADU, garden suite, maybe it's an attached unit, whatever the case is. Now we're adding rent to your application. So the qualification is slightly improved because now we're going to show, you know, there's 2 units, there's rent on one, and it allows you to improve a little bit more. But in the situation where single family, you know, you're buying single family, you're keeping it as a single family, your qualifications in theory is not changing, right? Unless you get a new job on the way or something like that. But so we're kind of looking at what you qualify it is and then using, you know, strategy to break down what your options are. How the whole process works from a payment, from a rate perspective. When you're doing the renovations, the purchase price renovation, we're going to do that first draw of the mortgage to close the property. That's all going to be at the interest-only rate. So this is our 6-month closed interest-only rate. Today it's around, I would say, mid to low 7%. So it's a higher rate than your regular mortgage. But if you're comparing, like, you know, renovation loans from contractors, private lenders, they're like 10 percent plus, right? So it's a renovation loan that you're taking around in the 7s today, at least, and it's interest only. So that first mortgage gets dispersed to close the property. Now, let's say we did that 25% on the first draw. That gets added into the total balance that you've taken from National Bank. So your interest only payment is going to go up a little bit. So it's still just one payment. And then again, it's a constant cycle of you spending money, we doing an inspection, us doing a draw. And it just goes in that circle. Your interest only payment is going to go up as we disperse more. Once everything's finalized, that's when your final mortgage kicks in. This is when we decide on, hey, I want the 3-year fix, I want variable. I mean, rates today, we're hovering around 4%, so that's when that final mortgage kicks in. What I really like about the renovation loan in a decreasing rate environment is I can change your rate throughout this whole process. I have something locked in. So you're going to sign an agreement saying, you know, assuming I close in 6 months when my renovations are done, I have this rate locked in. So that way, if rates go up, you're safe, we're all happy, we're locked in. But let's say throughout this process, it's a 6-month process, whatever that timeline is, we can adjust your rate. So if we see some decreases, let's say you wanted a fixed rate and we're seeing rates drop, you know, if your variable in prime changes, that obviously just going to change naturally, but I'm able to adjust your rate. So before we do that final inspection, that final draw, I'll meet with the customer to say, hey, here's what we have locked in. Let's double check to see what's available today, because if I can lower your rate and provide a good experience, that's my job. I'm going to.
Matt, thank you so much for coming on. That was great information. Everybody else, that's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take care.
If alcohol builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you feel hopeless, know this: we're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
On the next episode of Work in Progress, we have Lyndon George, the Executive Director of the Hamilton Anti-Racism Resource Center, and Aaron Carr from the Solidarity Place Worker Education Center coming on to talk about some of the challenges faced by working class people here in Hamilton. As we do every episode, we will do it once more. Please join us.
Ready, set, go! Time to get rolling at Matt Kids Walk and Wheel presented by RBC. Join us Saturday, May 31st at McMaster University campus for a fun-filled day of strolling and rolling to support children's healthcare close to home. Just step, pedal, roll, or run at Matt Kids Walk and Wheel, and your fundraising efforts will have a huge impact on the children receiving care at McMaster Children's Hospital, including the Ron Joyce Children's Health Center. To register or learn more, visit walkandwheel.ca.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Bernie Arbour Memorial Stadium here in Hamilton, Ontario. You are watching Cardinals baseball on Cable 14, presented by Life Labs. Matt Creeley, Nero Srivastava up in the booth with you here today on this holiday Sunday as IBL opening weekend rolls on here as the Welland Jackfish are in town to renew their rivalry with the Cardinals. Both teams are 1-0 entering action here today. And Neil, if this game is half as exciting as Friday's home opener was, then we are in for a treat.
Oh, it's always going to be a good game when the Welland Jackfish are in town. Of course, it is the inaugural game of the QEW Cup, brought to you by CHCH Television this year. So the winners of the Hamilton Cardinals and Welland Jackfish series and the regular season gets to bragging rights and a new piece of hardware to play for as well.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff as the rivalry between these two clubs has really picked up in the past couple of years. The Cardinals, of course, hoping to follow the trajectory that the Jackfish took earlier this decade toward multiple championship seasons. There are plenty of storylines heading into this one today, namely the IBL debut of Cardinals starting pitcher Ramon Henriquez, one of the many prizes from their trip to the Dominican Republic last fall. He brings velocity, he brings movement, he brings a ton of good stuff to the mound this season, and hoping to get started off on the right foot on this Sunday. Of course, no easy task against this Jackfish lineup, who led the league in most major offensive categories last season. We'll see if he's up to the task.
They definitely had the bats going last night, a 9-3 victory over the Berry Bay Cats. And their home opener at the Pond, and the lineups have been exchanged now, and we're just about ready to get the player introductions underway here as well.
Yeah, both these clubs scoring 9 runs in their respective home openers.
Here is the starting lineup for your Hamilton Cardinals for today's CHCH QEW Cup game.
And as the Cardinals lineup gets rolled out here, some different looks compared to Friday, namely Raquelman DeCastro leading off in the DH slot. He is not at full health, but healthy enough to DH at least.
Yep. And you got Tyler Duncan in center field batting second. July Bettini is doing the catching. He is batting third. Jonathan Ceslazo, the conductor, gets his first Sunday afternoon contest back here at Bernie Arbour Stadium. He's batting fourth. Josh Williams is playing first base today as Tanner Rempel is getting a little bit of more rest. Jaden Brown is batting sixth at shortstop today, so 6-6-6 at the shortstop today.
How about that?
A little crazy. Yoki Pena is batting seventh in right field. Tommy Reyes Cruz, hot off a great start in Friday night's contest, is batting eighth. And Brandon Daly is in left field today for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Tanner Rempel is getting a maintenance day. His hamstring tightened up on him, rounding the bases on Friday's game. He says he's fine, but going to get some rest today, probably a good idea. Josh Williams can't take his bat into the lineup, of course, after the miraculous game he had on Friday night, so he will be assuming first base duties.
And he will be, and he came in through at the right time. He got an opportunity. The Red Sox had to lock the bases loaded to face him. They didn't want to face John Salazzo, of course. Jeff Lonsberry, no stranger to what Salazzo can do when, of course, he was with the Leafs back then last year. He was the general manager over there last year, so he knows all about Salazzo. So yeah, that's probably the right choice, is to take that little bat off the guy that can probably do the most damage to you. But Josh Williams is no slouch either. 4 RBIs in the contest on Friday night, including the game winner.
Yeah, real pick your poison situation there. Bottom of the ninth, winning run in scoring position, Salazzo or Williams.
We're going to step away briefly here for the anthem. We'll be right back. Great job by Emma Bound on the anthem as we get ready to go here. The Cardinals will get their warm-ups. Here we go. We'll look at the lineup for the visiting Welland Jackfish. Leading off will be Jonah Weiser at shortstop. Gio Morello, the center fielder, is batting second. Jay Sanford, of course, the winning batter of the day. I don't know if I would have taken Sanford. I just don't know.
They're aiming high.
He is batting third. He's at third base today. Of course, he hadn't played. He was mentioning to me yesterday when we were talking before the before the game in Welland last night, he was talking on an upcoming interview. He's batting third, and he hadn't played third base since junior college. So then he goes out and make a great play last night. So, you know.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. Robert Mullen is batting fourth. Brendan Hoope is batting. Grayson Barrett is batting fifth. He hit the home run last night. Brendan Hoope is batting sixth in right field. Brandon Luther, second baseman. Definitely keep an eye on that guy. Is batting seventh. John Marchese is batting eighth. And Tyson Gom with the Little League home run last night, the inside the park on a sack bunt attempt. A comedy of errors. So, yes, Little League special. He is batting ninth, and he's a DH today.
By and large, Neil, this Jackfish lineup is patient. They don't strike out much. They walk a lot. They hit for power, and they steal bases. Kind of a threat everywhere you look. And for Ramon Henriquez, a guy who has that kind of stuff, pitchers like that are usually only as good as their ability to hit the strike zone, so that will be key in the early going in his debut.
Exactly. He's going to have to hit the zone and keep the corners moving as much as possible, too, because you don't want to make a mistake anywhere across the plate to these guys, this lineup and everything else. Yeah, it looks like a lot different, but these guys, they have a great job of retooling every year. Jason McKay and his staff do a great job of finding guys from out east, out west. Pretty much no rock goes unturned here, and they find guys constantly that'll help them go through here.
Yeah, and as you look at this lineup, one thing that I'm sure the Cardinals are not happy to see is the return of Robert Mullen from the Frontier League, batting cleanup today. He tormented these birds last year, especially in this ballpark.
Yeah, he loves hitting in this ballpark for some reason. Here in London, of course, he was a former London major as well, so yeah, he's got some spots he loves to hit for, and just Hamilton's always been one of his favorite destinations as far as hitting the baseball.
Top of the first inning is brought to you by Adwell Industrial.
We are just about set to go on this brisk but pleasant holiday Sunday afternoon here at Bernie Arbour. The Jackfish in their alternate greens, the Cardinals in their alternate blacks. As we get going here, sun is just poking through the clouds, and we are ready for some afternoon baseball here at Bernie Arbour. Jonah Weisner will lead it off, playing shortstop today, stepping on from the left side, the Ottawa University product. Of course, that is Ottawa, Kansas. Henriquez's first pitch is a fastball down and in.
First pitch is at 2:08 p.m. Eastern time, so not bad at all as far as the time and everything else. We had a big festivity, a very poignant ceremony honoring the memory of Larry Wood, and of course his legacy will live on here for Cardinals fans for many, many years to come.
The 1-0 from Henriquez runs in again. And what Cardinals brass saw from Henriquez down in the Dominican, 4-pitch mix, fastball, changeup, slider, and a sweeper. The fastball was sitting regularly in the mid-90s. It has rise, it has run. It is a nightmare when located properly for opposing hitters.
That one misses in the dirt, and the count now is 3-0 on Weisner.
Henriquez's battery mate, July Vittini. Of course, another product of the Cardinals scouting trip to the Dominican last November. Vittini just 21 years old. The heir apparent to Luis Bernardo's throne back there in the catcher spot.
Well, he's definitely handed it off to a great potential future prospect here, that's for sure.
The count is 3-0 now to the leadoff man, Weisner. Henriquez kicks and deals. And it catches the inside corner for strike one. So with the movement of that fastball, the way Henriquez located it there, down and in, Weisner probably thought it was going to hit him in the kneecaps to start off, and then it bends back in at 95 or so miles an hour. You don't want to see that. But he takes ball 4 up and in there, so the Jackfish had the leadoff man on via the walk. That'll bring up Gio Morello.
Gio Morello, the captain of the Jackfish, longest serving Jackfish as well, came over from the Brantford Red Sox once Welland became Welland.
Morello attended the University of Charleston, NCAA baseball. He's been primarily a center fielder, but he's been a utility man at points throughout his career. Multiple stops around the diamond. Also standing in from the left side. These Jackfish have a very lefty-heavy lineup. Most of the returning characters are back from last year. And why wouldn't they be? It was the most effective offense in the league.
32 and 10 last year in the regular season. Of course, losing to the Guelph Royals in the second round, the semifinals. Of course, they were a powerhouse at home last year, and then it come to the postseason. I think they only had the one victory at the pond, which is very uncharacteristic for them.
Yeah, sometimes the element of randomness in this game rears its ugly head at the worst possible time, and that's what's happened to these Jackfish last September. An unceremonious exit in the semifinals to the Guelph Royals. Swing and a miss by Morello. And that brings the count to 1-2. Henriquez bringing the high heat. In the early going, he hasn't been afraid to work inside, which is key. A lot of IBL pitchers just by default work away. Henriquez will no doubt be getting into the heads of these Jackfish hitters if he can establish the inside corner with that fastball, especially in a 2-strike count. But not before a pickoff attempt at first base. Henriquez clearly mindful of Weisner back there.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep Weisner on his toes over there and keep him honest. You don't want to give the Jackfish an extra 90 feet here.
Henriquez is set. The 1-2 to Morello. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Ramon Henriquez has his first career IBL strikeout. Morello could not handle the high fastball.
He went chasing upstairs and couldn't come away with anything. And then I'll bring up the aforementioned Jake Sanford. Last year's IBL batting champion. A 393 average last season. Definitely felt more at the plate as the season progressed. Put on a great show during the All-Star game, during the home run derby, and of course, the conversation we had yesterday, he declared he's himself eligible for the derby again.
Has he now?
He has. Ryan Rio did the same thing, and of course, then Rio went out last night and has put an exclamation point on it with a solo blast in the 3rd inning.
I wonder if he was using his torpedo bat.
I don't think it was his torpedo, but I did text message him earlier and he didn't answer back, so I'm guessing he was still sleeping or, enjoying something else. He'll get back to me eventually, I'm sure.
Well, it's good news for the fans here in Hamilton if they'll have Sanford and Rio, among others, at the home run derby this summer, as Henriquez's pickoff move to first gets away and Weisner is off to the races. Around second, going all the way to third. Josh Williams throws back into the infield. And a 2-base error there by Henriquez, attempting to pick off Weisner, has the Jackfish and a prime run scoring opportunity. Weisner goes from first to third on the error. That one glanced all the way down near the visitors' bullpen. Williams, the first baseman, had to run way out to get it. And now Sanford's in a position where a ball in play could score a run. Doesn't matter if it falls or not.
Oh, exactly. It's a ground ball or anything to the right side of the infield is likely going to score him from third.
Sanford, the former Yankees draft pick, product of Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, a town that has turned out a couple decent hockey players in recent history.
That has.
Ahead in the count, 1-0 here. Henriquez stares across at Weisner at third and then fires. And that one glances off Julie Vittini all the way to the backstop, and the Jackfish are going to get the game's first run.
Likely to be scored. A wild pitch would allow the run will come home. And Jake Sanford's got a 2-0 count in his favor now.
So Henriquez threw it away on the pickoff move, and then Weisner scores on the play at the plate. Wild pitch, pass ball, whatever it ends up being. It definitely hit Vittini on its way to the backstop, perhaps a cross up there. And Weisner can easily trot home from third base. 2-0 now to Sanford. Breaking ball runs in. Henriquez brings multiple breaking ball offerings. He's got a tight slider and then one of those new modern looking sweepers with extra horizontal movement. Both pitches in the high 70s to low 80s velocity range. Finds the corner with that one.
Count now 3-1. One away here in the home half, or sorry, top of the first inning. The Jackfish have played a run here in the top half.
A 3-1 from Henriquez. Inside, ball 4.
No discount hot dogs this inning. Sanford will take the free pass here instead.
Now we'll have to wait till the next time around. As Robert Mullen's going to dig in now, but Luis Bernardo, Cardinals assistant coach, feels that this is a good time to go out to the hill and try and calm down his young pitcher.
Maybe he's picking up something from the sideline here and just trying to pass some knowledge on to him. Maybe he's just, hey, going out there and, hey, you got to relax out here, take a couple breaths, just throw the baseball like you're capable of doing here. Throw more strikes.
I'll tell you, Neil, it's ironic that the pickoff move appears to be the story of this first inning so far, because on Tuesday night's practice, Henriquez was throwing a bullpen, and during this bullpen, he was practicing his move looking back to second base. The Cardinals played an exhibition doubleheader against the Ontario Blue Jays a few Sundays ago, and Henriquez found himself particularly rattled and unable to focus with a runner on second base. It was messing with his mechanics and his timing, so he was making a point of practicing that during his bullpen on Tuesday, and Coach Bernardo liked what he saw. But it appears that the runners on base are once again getting into his head a little bit, as the good stuff hasn't been enough to overcome the throwing error and at times the trouble to command the strike zone.
Yep.
And he starts once again behind 1-0 now to Robert Mullen. Julie Vittini trying to bring that outside fastball back over the plate to no avail, and the count moves to 2-0. Mullen is a classic righty power-hitting catcher. He likes to catch balls out front, pull them in the air. That's how he gets his power, and that's how he exercised it here at Bernie last summer at times. One of the highest rates of pulled fly balls in the league, in fact, last summer. Henriquez finds the outside with that fastball, and we're at 2-1. Sanford, decent sized lead off first there. Williams holding him on. Henriquez a glance over. The kick and the 2-1 pitch. Up high, ball 3.
Henriquez has just got to settle down here and find the strike zone, get a way to get some outs here.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. We know how good his stuff is. We know it'll play in the zone if he hits it. He can be a swing and miss machine, even if he's not. Even if you're in the shadow of the zone. But he's got to find that release point right now and let his pitches do the talking. 3-1 is way outside. And that's walk number 3 of the inning.
Not the start he envisioned, that's for sure.
Stepping up to the plate, left
As
fielder
Grayson
number
Barrett will come to the
1,
plate with
Barrett.
2 on and still only 1 away here. Barrett with a mammoth shot last night. In the pond, at the pond anyways.
And it already appears that we have some action down in the Cardinal bullpen. Karin Salcedo Reyes is doing some light tossing with Cardinals backup catcher Ethan Martin down there, just in case this inning should unravel in dramatic fashion. 2 on, 1 out here, first and second. Jackfish already with the 1-0 lead as a result of a wild pitch. Henriquez gets ahead of Barrett here, strike 1. Barrett, the big lefty, plays first, corner outfield. Starting in left today for these Jackfish, batting 5th.
Of course, he played collegiate baseball at Texas Wasteland University. He's a dual citizen, so it doesn't count against the import card rule.
Yeah, we've seen IBL front offices maximize that loophole when roster building this past winter. The 0-2 from Henriquez in there, strike 3. Barrett frozen by the off-speed pitch.
That'll probably get the bullpen to settle down a little bit as we get a live look quickly down the line here.
Stepping up to the
As well.
plate, right fielder number 21, Brandon Upe.
Salcedo
20 laps the distance of this feature event, so drivers want to sort of be selective, Jerry.
Hamilton Chamber is celebrating its 180th anniversary this year. Congratulations.
Okay, cheers to wellness.
To wellness.
And creativity.
What a beautiful toast. Thank you so
beautiful.
much. Cheers.
With the Jackfish, he's made stops in the Dominican Winter League, the Atlantic League, the Mexican League, the Nicaraguan Winter League.
Quite the tour of duty here.
And now back here to Welland. He is a veteran of professional baseball. This is season number 16 for him. He started out all the way back in 2010 at the ripe age of 19 in rookie ball in the Chicago White Sox system. He also spent some time in the Cincinnati Reds organization. Layer's got a bit of a funky delivery, as you can see here on your screen.
And welcome back, folks. Sorry for the technical hiccups here. Something in the old stadium here. Something popped, and that's it. And that's all it takes. No rats for sacrifice, no moles, and everything else. There was, of course, the mole in the batting cage earlier, so we were joking that maybe it was trying to chew the wires in protest, and maybe that's exactly what happened.
We work with what we can here at Bernie Arbour.
Yeah, we can.
So digging in now to take his first at-bat of the season is Raquel de Castro at DH today. Of course, not healthy enough to field, but healthy enough to hit right now. And the first pitch from Jackfish starter Euclides Layer is in there for strike one, down and in. Layer is a 16-year veteran of professional baseball, spent time in the White Sox and Reds organizations before various tours around independent baseball in America, the Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua.
Castro takes that one inside, evens the count at 1-1.
Layer's got a bit of a funny delivery. He's 6'2", but he's got a very wide three-quarter release point, very little extension down the mound, but he likes to get really low with that plant leg. Kind of an odd look for Cardinals hitters, relative to expectation at least.
So I'm figuring with his delivery and everything else, he's likely got a rising fastball.
De Castro hits that 1-2 softly on the ground at third base. And making the play is Jake Sanford in time for the first out.
5-3 goes your put out if you're scoring at home. One away now for Tyler Duncan, the center fielder.
Number 5, Tyler Duncan.
Layer, by all accounts, is a two-pitch pitcher. Fastball, breaking ball. Back in his heyday in minor league ball, he would sit low to mid-90s with the fastball. But Luis Bernardo, a man of many connections. Cardinals assistant coach knows Layer. They're from the same region in the Dominican Republic. He told us before the game that velocity is down somewhat, as Tyler Duncan all over that first pitch fastball, but he fouls it away.
If you're just tuning in, the Jackfish scored a run on the top of the first inning, courtesy of a walk, and then a two-base error. Then a wild pitch brought him home.
Now the pickoff move gone wrong right now is the difference early on in this ball game as Duncan takes outside. We're at 1-1. Player set, and the 1-1 pitch bends away, 2-1. Layer did have a changeup early on in his minor league baseball career, and then he was transitioned to the bullpen in White Sox affiliate ball, and he dropped it. That's not to say it couldn't come back out against the lefty here, though, and I think that last pitch to Tyler Duncan is exactly what that was, as he takes the next one low as well, 3-1. Advantage Duncan here with Cardinals catcher July Bettini on deck. And he looks at that one all the way. Count runs full. I have to feel like the way the Cardinals lineup was constructed last year played an impact on the way Duncan was pitched. He saw more pitches down and away than anybody else on the team. Nobody wanted anything to do with him.
Well, exactly. They would just, they'd wait till he came up in the order and just pitch around him as much as they could. And he draws a walk here with one away.
And that's the thing, when you pitch around him now, there's more threats in the middle of the order to try and bring him home.
Stepping up to the plate, the catcher, number 11,
That was the whole question. When we were talking in the offseason with Reed Duffy and myself, we were like, okay, how do you build this lineup around him to give us the lower plate protection? And boom, boom, boom. It was like, okay, they got Owen Boone, they got Fernando Rodney, and then lo and behold, this, I think it was January 9th or something like that, we made a trade with the Maple Leafs, giving up Dennis DeBanning, but getting him back in return, the conductor Jonathan Salazzo, who came out and helped out a lot here.
Yeah, Salazzo had a big day on Friday, sparking a couple rallies with a couple nice opposite field base hits. July Bettini takes that 0-1 breaking ball down and in. Bettini has shown a knack for seeing pitches. He walked a lot during the preseason games and the game on Friday night. He has 28 walks in 55 minor league games. Sometimes it's bordering on passive.
Yeah.
You'll see him take strikes.
But you also got to remember he's also a catcher, and so he's in that catcher's mindset constantly, but obviously because he's got that eye at the plate.
Yeah. Point of emphasis for the Cardinals this offseason was working on building a lineup that could see more pitches. Be patient, make pitchers work. And Bettini has seen 4 so far. He has swung at none of them. 2 of them have been in the zone. So he finds himself in a 2-2 count here. 1 away in the inning, Duncan on first.
Another great crowd here on hand at Bernie Arbour, too.
The 2-2 swung on and missed. Layer pulled the string on him. That slider bent back over the inner half, and Bettini swings over top of it.
Stepping up to the plate,
that'll bring up John Salazzo.
One of 4 games in the Intercounty this afternoon is 8 of 9 teams are active.
That's a busy one.
A lot of scoreboard watching going on, that's for sure.
Scoreboard watching, we're game 2.
I know.
Never too early to start scoreboard watching around the IBL.
No, you gotta.
42 games goes by fast.
It definitely does, and they all matter.
So a 2 away now, John Salazzo. Slightly late on that first pitch fastball from Layer.
And somebody's going to wind up with an added bonus in their parking lot. Hopefully not a dent.
Hopefully not. Salazzo had 2 very professional at-bats on Friday. Both pitches he took for base hits were down and away, and what can you do with those? Take them the other way. And that's what he did.
Watch that one set outside. He was out at with already 1 ball and 1 strike now on Salazzo. Josh Williams on deck. Should Salazzo keep this inning going with 2 away?
The 1-1 catches the outside corner.
Plate umpire Tak Matsuda making sure everybody knows that was a call strike with a hand motion as well.
Layer's now a strike away from working around this 1-out walk to Duncan. The 1-2, Duncan on the move. Down and away, and the throw from Mullen tails off to the right. Tyler Duncan's got himself a stolen base.
Stolen base by Duncan. Puts himself in scoring position. Should Salazzo be able to make contact and touch the green here. We'll likely see him race home to tie this ball game.
Duncan's a big man, but make no mistake, he's got the speed to score. Should Salazzo find some outfield grass with this one. We've seen Layer go to the breaking ball a lot in 2 strike counts in the early going here. Will he do it again? That last one missed. But he gets Salazzo swinging on the changeup, and that's your inning.
1 left, nothing else.
So no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. Cardinals trail the Welland Jackfish after 1-0.
So Ramon Henriquez, after a tumultuous first, he managed to tightrope out of danger having just allowed the one run.
Birthday to celebrate today in the nest. Want to give a big happy birthday shout out to William.
2 strikeouts, 3 walks in that first for Henriquez. Hoping to go about it a little smoother this time.
Want to give a big special shout out to all
He'll
the
have Luther, Marchese, and Gom due up here.
Of course, Brandon Luther was the WCBL Player of the Year, Canadian Player of the Year the last 2 seasons out west before coming to the Jackfish. You'll see it definitely, the Jackfish fans will be definitely watching him with a lot of excitement, and he brings a lot of energy when he's at the ballpark as well.
Yeah, Luther, the Mississauga, Ontario product. Yet another lefty batter, following the Jackfish's MO of acquiring those consummate lefty hitters. He had a decorated college career too at Bellevue University, a NAIA school. He was nearly a 400 hitter across 2 seasons there. Stops in Edmonton and Okotoks in the WCBL, as Neil just alluded to.
Of course, the other thing that caught my eye is he's a graphic designer.
Is he now?
Yeah.
You and him.
I'm gonna have to
kindred spirits.
I'm gonna have to pick some brains, get some ideas from him as far as some other things. I'm still learning Photoshop. I've been forcing myself to learn the better tools and everything else because I'm using Canva and all the easy ones. But now it's like, okay, I gotta start learning how to do this stuff. So.
Yeah, Photoshop's definitely a learning curve, but
yeah,
the power is almost limitless.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to pick his brain, and of course then you got John Marchese. I always say it wrong. It's Josh Marchese, of course, he was with Niagara University as well. He's coming up as well. The first baseman got some good pop in the bat too. And then Tyson Gom, of course, we don't have to see, about him from last year. He's attending Brock University.
Fellow Badger, shout out.
I try not to wear the Griffin hat too often.
Yeah, especially around the IBL ballparks in the summer. Yeah, you're in Brock Spima country now, my friend.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. That last warm-up pitch from Henriquez, Julie Vittini simulated the throw down to second base as though he was trying to catch a runner stealing, and he fired it into center field.
That was a laser.
What an arm.
I don't think the second baseman was ready for it. I don't think Tommy Reyes Cruz was expecting to come through that fast.
So in steps Brendan Luther. He can play all over the diamond. He played third last week in the school day games, and now he's assuming second base duty. He's batting the 7-hole for the Jackfish here today, hoping to follow Jonah Weisner's lead as a solid lefty that the Jackfish acquired from the WCBL. First pitch from Henriquez right down Main Street for strike 1. And again, when it's around the zone, good luck catching up to that fastball. It's got more than 10 inches of both vertical and horizontal movement. Slider popped out of his hand early that time, and the count's 1-1. As Neil mentioned, Luther, quite the career in the WCBL. He hit .368 there last summer on his way to those Player of the Year honors.
Now working with a 1-2 count against him.
Yeah, swung and missed that time. Henriquez now in the driver's seat. 1-2, way inside. Luther had to jump out of the way of that one. Almost caught him in the lower half. And the count's now even. I talked earlier about how Henriquez is not afraid to work inside. Well, Brendan Luther is positioned way inside in the batter's box. He got an open stance, but his back foot's basically on the corner. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Henriquez brings the high heat again, and that's his third strikeout of the ballgame.
3 strikeouts for our friends at Little Caesars. We'll be donating once again to help strike out Hunter.
That's such a wonderful campaign that the Cardinals have brought back this year. Evan White, shout out, game-based staff for the Hamilton Cardinals. He'll be having another busy night with those pizza pillows on that spear.
That spear got rather full Friday night, 14 strikeouts.
And Henriquez blows that one by Josh Marchese. Out ahead, 0-1 here.
This is what you saw in the school game, too, is when Enriquez, when he finally settled in, he was like, okay, I know I control the fastball again. It's just, okay, got to watch the tails. That one, check swing, appeal down to third, so he did not go around. That's a tight one, but again, I don't know if the third baseman had a good angle on it, too, but he is right down the line, but I thought he went a little more than he did. But
it was tough to see, too, because that pitch was way up and in. Couldn't tell if it maybe hit Bettini's glove, or who knows if it was actually Marchese that got a piece of it. Either way, it's 1-1. Swung on and missed, strike 2. My goodness.
Kind of movement.
And this is the trend that we're seeing now in this league. More pitchers with power stuff that were cast out from affiliate ball in the minor leagues now trickling down to the IBL. The talent has never been better, especially on the pitching side. 1-2 in there, strike 3.
That was nice to watch.
Enriquez is starting to feel himself now. Back-to-back strikeouts to open up this inning. Making quick work of the bottom of the order so far. Tyson Gom can't feel too comfortable.
No.
Strutting up to the plate here.
No, and your last two guys that stepped in that box went down looking and swinging here. So, yeah, Tyson Gom, you got to just try to make contact and not be the third man.
Enriquez with that intimidating stare from the hunch stance. Gets the sign, fires the pitch in there, 0-1. Maybe I'll run into Tyson on campus next year, and I'll have to pick his brain about what it was like to face this guy. Because just watching him down at that tryout, you could tell it's a special arm. It's about harnessing it, though. Bettini tried to frame that 0-1 pitch back over the corner, down and in, to no avail.
Just missed inside.
Should Gom keep the inning going, we'll go back to the top of the order for Jonah Weisner. Waiting in the wings on deck. Enriquez, the wind and the 1-1 pitch inside.
He's definitely trying to get the ball in these guys' hands. Keeping them from trying to reach away here and put the bat out and try to just push it somewhere else and play.
Yeah, and if you can command it well, that's a great approach. Gom, the first Jackfish batter to be ahead in the count so far, but that didn't last long as he swings and misses at that one to make it 2-2. As Neil said, another packed house here at Bernie Arbour. Both silver stands and the grandstand.
It's great to see.
Pretty crowded, despite the cooler weather today, too.
Yep. I packed the jacket. I'm like, I'm not going to bring it out of the car. Kind of wish I did now.
2-2 to Gom, breaking ball in the dirt, and it runs full.
But then I'm going through my stuff going, I don't have anything that's got Cardinals logos on it yet, so I'll have to get some of that stuff. I got a lot of Calgary Stampeders things I don't want to wear around here, because especially not in this town.
Nope, not here.
I can't wear them at home either because I work in the office where the Argos are right now.
Gom chops the full count pitch up the middle. Jaden Brown's going to have to hurry from short, but the throw and the beautiful pick at first by Josh Williams. And the Cardinals escape unscathed. Ramon Henriquez, beautiful rebound inning. 1-2-3 go the Jackfish. We go bottom 2. Jackfish still with a 1-0 lead.
Take a quick look at the Rawlings out-of-town scoreboard in the innings here.
Yeah, what's going on down here in the IBL?
Brantford and Guelph are scoreless. They're in the top of the third inning in Brantford. Top of the second inning in Kitchener, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, who won last night convincingly, are up 4-1 on the Panthers already. Bottom of the first inning in Toronto, Ayami Sato's second start did not go as smoothly as the first one. Let's put it that way. It's 4-1 for the Majors here. Now in the second inning. Our friend Caden Cardoso, again, having another monster day at the plate already.
Ah, yes, Mr. Cardoso.
I don't know. I was like, I keep ribbing Eric about that one. It's just like, yeah, he could have been here. But we needed something else. So we made him expendable, and London picked him up.
Yes, Cardoso was one of many premier IBL players from last season that initially got the call to the Frontier League and then got cut this spring. So
yeah, he's playing with a little bit of. He definitely can feel like he's got a I'm going to prove these guys wrong kind of mentality right now.
For sure, and you don't want to give a hitter as talented as Caden Cardoso that kind of chip on his shoulder.
No, and it's just been like watching these things go through here, and so the league record for single season triples is 7.
Right.
Cardoso's got 3 right now.
Come on, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
This is the third game of the
season. He's got 3 triples. I'm like going. When I was looking through the seasonal stats and putting them together this year, I was just like, how is the single season record 7?
What an oddity that is.
I'm just like, if all the years and everything else we've got records for, it's 7. and it's tied like 6 guys who got 7.
Reminiscent of Evan Gaddis's 11 triple season for the Houston Astros back a few years ago.
You know, Cardoso's one of those guys. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's going to put balls and plays in the gaps like that, so it's going to work to his favor. So if anybody's capable of breaking it, it's definitely him.
Yes, Cardoso, Kenise Ejo, Robert Mullen right behind the plate right now, among the group that was called up to the Frontier League and then sent back away. Of course, the Cardinals are still waiting on such an announcement, possibly, about relief pitcher Zach Cameron, but so far, so good for him.
And that's great for Zach.
Yes.
Getting an opportunity to go up there and
he's
show
wanted
what
to play
got.
there for a while.
Josh Williams lays off that pitch. The count is 1-0 here.
Now we resume play in the bottom of the second. Euclides Lyer worked around the 1-out walk to Tyler Duncan in the first.
Williams takes a big hack on that one. Evens the count at 1-1.
Now Williams is a human skyscraper. 6'5", lots of power. Of course, that comes with swing and miss like you just saw. And he rifles that 1-1 pitch to deep left, but right at the left fielder, Grayson Barrett.
Barrett didn't have to take much movement at all. He was well placed there and just had to reach up and take a step to his left.
Another frozen rope off the bat of Josh Williams, and that is very encouraging to see all this hard contact from him here in the early going. Especially if a guy like him is hitting the ball hard, then it's a good indicator that the bat speed's there, the swing is there, the mechanics are down pat.
And this guy impressed us during the school game. It's Jaden Brown here.
Jaden Brown, what a hitter. Rifled a couple balls over the right field wall. A couple off the wall, too.
Yep.
Brown only has one gear at the plate, and it is top gear. He swings fast no matter the count, no matter the situation, kind of Bo Bichette-esque in that way. But, man, does he ever have elite bat speed and raw power. And with that, he's not as undisciplined as you might think. He knows the strike zone. There's just natural swing and miss when you're a guy who goes up there big game hunting as much as he does. 1-1 count now on Brown. The pitch from Lyer, and it saws him off. Hit up the first base line, just foul.
First base umpire down the line right there to make that call. And Brown will get a new life here at 1-2.
That's good for Brown, of course. Had it stayed fair, it would have rolled harmlessly into the glove of Josh Marchese, and he would have been retired on the unassisted ground out, but we'll do it again here, 1-2.
Majors having their way with Sato now. It's now 7-1.
Goodness. As Lyer bends that slider over the inside corner. Down goes Jaden Brown on strikes.
Stepping up to the plate, the right fielder, number 12, Yoki Pena.
Yoki Pena stepping in now for the Hamilton Cardinals. The former Colorado Rockies prospect. 5 walks in the season opener.
Yeah, he was just seeing the baseball, and lots of them.
Pena rifles the first pitch down the first base line, but it's gloved by Marchese. He steps on the bag, and that is the inning. The Cardinals go quickly in the second. 1-0 is your score after 2. Ramon Henriquez will go back to work here against the top of the Jackfish order when we return here on Cardinals Baseball on Cable 14, presented by Life Labs.
just fun. As we saw all the kids running around the bases, they're still getting trickled off and carted off here. Wow, there was a lot of kids today. A lot.
Yeah, holiday Sunday, families are on the field.
Mom and Dad thinking, let's go run the bases so we can run some of this energy off so we don't have to deal with it on the car ride home.
All is well again at Bernie Arbour Stadium.
Yes.
We're back.
We're definitely back, that's for sure. Top of the third inning here at Bernie Arbour Stadium. The Welland Jackfish leading your Hamilton Cardinals 1-0. I'm Neil Sriwasto and Matt Creedy along with us as well. On the call.
Jonah Weisner is going to step in for his second plate appearance as the Jackfish order turns over.
Weisner walked in the first inning, reached second and third on the overthrow on the pickoff attempt, and then came home via the wild pitch. So yes.
Not your most conventional trip around the bases.
No. Jackfish having seen a couple of those in the last couple of days. A bunt that turned into an inside the Parker.
Bunt, home run, and then walk, error, wild pitch.
Yeah.
They all count the same. Weisner last season, slightly abbreviated, only 99 plate appearances, but did he ever have some gaudy numbers? 395 average, 455 on base, 558 slug. OPS over 1,000.
And it was.
One of the many productive lefties in this Welland lineup. Henriquez's second inning went much better than his first, so he'll try and bring some of that positive momentum back to the top of the order, who he struggled against the first time through. We are set to go here in inning number 3, the first pitch from Henriquez, up high, ball 1.
Weisner, of course, from Mission, BC.
The 1-0 sent foul down the third base line. Weisner was late on that pitch, and it got some good wood on it, but it tailed off to the wrong side of the chalk and harmlessly into the Cardinal bullpen. Strike 1.
Interesting colored bat he's got up there. Like a silverish.
Yeah, the silver.
It's this one on through the hole on the right side of the infield for a single here.
Right through the Dandelions, Weisner reaches base for the second time. I believe that's the first hit of the ballgame for the Jackfish.
That is their first hit, yes.
Not their first base runner, but
first hit.
Their first hit. So Henriquez once again is going to have to deal with a man on first. We'll see what his pickoff tendencies are now after that error that allowed Weisner to go from first to third in inning number 1. Gio Morello struck out his first time up. Henriquez just kept climbing the ladder with that fastball. First pitch in there, strike 1. Henriquez finds the outside corner. And he's not mixing it up on him just yet, and why would you? You beat him with fastballs the first time up and starts him off with the heat again this time. Weisner an aggressive lead off first. Morello shows bunt for a second, but then pulls back as the pitch from Henriquez goes way high. Morello's been a core member of these Jackfish for years, as Neil said earlier, the longest serving member of the team. Integral role on that championship winning club in 2023. Swings and misses at the high heat again that time, and Henriquez moves ahead 1-2.
We didn't have any wind at all Friday night. Now we got the gust all over. It's just like the...
And the home plate umpire, Tak Matsuda, has called a balk here on Henriquez.
Guess he didn't come to a full stop at all. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Or sorry, 1 and 2. Still.
Yeah, that 1-2 pitch is nullified, I guess, by the balk. So
yep.
Weisner takes second and will do it again.
Guess he called the balk before the pitch was even released.
Henriquez with the look back at second. Nobody's holding Weisner on. The pitch, and Morello pops it foul, third base side. If memory serves me correctly, Morello was the first one to receive the Dominico Cup trophy when the Jackfish won it in 2023.
You are correct, yes. Usually goes to the captain just like it does in hockey.
Of course. One of the great traditions in sports. 1-2 to Morello here. And the pitch bounces in front of the plate. Julie Vittini recovers it. And the count is even. Jackfish threatening once again here. The walk and then the balk. What a strange day this has been for Jonah Weisner. Walk and a single, that's a pretty normal combination of ways to reach first base, but everything that happened after that has been something out of the Twilight Zone.
Yep. He gets around, though.
Another two-strike pitch incoming to Gianfranco Morello. High for ball 3. Now, Henriquez can pick his battles here if he wants. First base is open. Of course, you don't want to mess around too much with Sanford and Mullen, where the next two do up, but he has the arm side movement on that fastball to get a weak grounder. And should Morello walk here, that would be of the essence. Henriquez steps off, and once again, that runner on second. What I was talking about earlier, he was practicing that move last week. Steps off to gather himself here and reset.
He must have really good peripheral vision or something. That's probably why it distracts him so much.
He's got that sixth sense. Henriquez taking his time here.
Now, why is he called
And
time here?
this time, Morello is the one who steps out. The chess match, the game within the game. Some light stretching going on down in that Cardinal bullpen. Salcedo, of course, stopped throwing after that first. Henriquez comes set. The payoff pitch hits him. You could hear that one from up here, but Morello seems no worse for wear.
Not sure if I got him in the arm or got him in the...
Down to first base he goes.
Whereas now at first and second, still nobody away here in the Welland Jackfish top of the third inning. They lead this 1-0. If you're just tuning in. They got the run in the top of the first inning. Weisner walked and made around the bases on an error and a wild pitch. And now he's at second base for a single and a balk in this inning.
So ducks on the pond, or should I say fish on the pond, for Jake Sanford.
Not a guy you want to come up with anybody on base.
First pitch from Henriquez, just low. Logan Workington is up doing some light toss in that Cardinals bullpen. Workington, of course, threw against these Jackfish on the school day games.
Looked really well.
Yeah, he struck out the side in the first inning. Workington, the lefty. Manitoba product, joining Connor Corey. A couple Manitoba boys now in that Cardinal bullpen down there. Henriquez steps off, and no question about it, once again, those runners are in his head.
Yep.
And I think in recent years, with the analytics and all that, baseball fans have come to terms with the fact that the pitcher does play a huge part in controlling the running game. It's not just on the catcher to throw guys out. Pitchers play a great part in it, but you don't want to let it get to your head too much, especially when you're up against the meat of the order. And Weisner knows it too. He's doing all sorts of dancing off second base there.
Oh, exactly. He was making lots of noise back there to see if he can get a throw or at least get in the pitcher's head more.
That's like a shark who smells blood.
Yep. Thinking of that scene from Rookie of the Year. Where the pitcher's got a big butt.
These hitters and runners are smart enough to sense that nervousness. Sanford
takes a big hack and that fouls that one off right at the plate here.
He was trying to send that one way beyond that fence.
And a live look at the bullpen coming up. Down there you can see Workington and Connor Corey. Well, Corey looks like he stopped throwing now.
And Workington throwing with a little more intent. Battle's not close to done yet for Henriquez. 2-1 is down and in. And now Sanford is commanding this situation.
3-1 count here. You don't want to make a mistake here, but at the same time, you don't want to load the bases.
Both pitcher and hitter in this matchup have seen their fair share of the low levels of the minors. 3-1 hit on the ground to first. Williams picks it.
He'll take it himself for his first out of the inning.
Yeah, he told Henriquez, waved him off with the glove, said, I got this one. So the runners advance. The Cardinals do get an out, though. Nevertheless, Robert Mullen stepping in with 2 runners in scoring position.
Mullen followed by Grayson Barrett. Not out of the woods yet, if there is such a thing as being out of the woods against these Welland Jackfish.
Yeah, that's all relative. Morello on second, Wisner on third. I'm sure Sanford would have liked to do more in that situation, but you can't be too mad moving them over, especially when you've got Mullen stepping in. First righty hitter of the inning, and he chops that pitch foul down the third base line.
Into the bullpen it goes, and
Henriquez running that one in on the hands of Mullen. Couldn't get extended to keep it fair. The 0-1 breaking ball, great block by Vittini. Sprung out of his crouch on that one to ensure that it didn't go to the backstop. There's enough space here in foul territory at Bernie Arbour that a ball rolling to the backstop with 2 runners on second and third, you can't just assume that 1 run's going to score.
no, you can almost think if you've got enough good wheels and you get the right bounce here, you could actually score from second base on that wild pitch or pass ball. I've seen it done before.
The infield is in to protect against the ground ball here with those runners on. Pitch from Henriquez. Up and in, 2-1. That sweeping breaking ball started to bend back over the plate. Didn't miss by much. But Vittini couldn't sell it. Grayson Barrett waiting on deck. He had that play in left field last inning. A line drive straight at him from Josh Williams. Henriquez can't find the zone with that fastball either.
Nope. Vittini tried to bring that one back in, but Tak Matsuda not going to give him that call.
And again, unlike the first inning, he's not missing by much here. Getting squeezed now. But if you don't establish that strike zone early, it's going to be harder for you to buy calls later on.
Yep.
It's just how it goes. Henriquez knows that. He's pitched long enough. But he tries to forge onward here. The 3-1. That one catches the corner. Perfect pitch there, Mullen. Couldn't do much with it.
No.
I've got the glasses on. My vision's still not perfect, but it does look like Robert Mullen's using one of those new torpedo bats.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like one of the torpedoes.
It's the newest trend around baseball.
Yeah,
Even trickling down to the IBL.
Well, guys, see, the guys all saw the guys in the major leagues having success with it in an open weekend. I guarantee they were probably boarding their bats that week anyway, so it was just like, okay, yeah, and then, all right, let's go. You got it. They're probably calling their rep going, hey, do you got a torpedo? And if you don't, you got to make one. So, they probably wouldn't make. I know a lot of the bat companies were jumping on it really fast.
Yep. It was the talk of the town in Major League Baseball this offseason, and then the secret was out after opening weekend, and the Yankees, with their barrage of home runs, made it a national story. Mullen, after fouling off the previous payoff, is going to see another 3-2 here from Henriquez. Here it comes. Down for ball 4. And they are loaded up here for Grayson Barrett. And Chris Piano, I think, has seen enough.
I think so. He's taking the trot out here, and he's got somebody warm, ready to go in the bullpen here. So
Yeah, Logan Workington was throwing, and it looks like he'll be the one coming in. So Ramon Henriquez's IBL debut does not live up to expectation. The stuff was there. We saw the swing and miss, and we saw in that second inning just how dominant he can be, but a little too wild. He will leave with 5 walks, a hit by pitch. The 4 strikeouts, not enough to overcome it. And Logan Workington's going to make his regular season IBL debut here. He, again, pitched multiple innings in the school day game against the Jackfish last week. He was pulled midway through the third. He had a free and breezy first inning, 3 strikeouts all in a row, but then ran into some trouble, allowed a few runs in the second. And this is not an easy spot to come into here with, I mean, you get the platoon matchup you want, lefty-lefty, but bases loaded. Barrett's an accomplished hitter.
Exactly.
Workington's got his work cut out for him.
You got lots of speed on the base paths too, so you know you get a ground ball. There's no guarantee you're getting a double play here and getting out of this inning.
Workington can play the outfield too. In the Cardinals' final preseason game exhibition against the junior Cardinals right here at Bernie Arbour, he played first base for a couple innings. So in an emergency, it's nice to know that the Cardinals have that flexibility, or if their bench is ever short. But primarily, Workington will be used as a reliever out of the bullpen.
Which makes lots of sense.
Workington, the Morningside University product. He also got a very brief cup of coffee with the Winnipeg Gold Guys in the American Association last year through 2 1/3 scoreless.
Stepping up to the plate, left fielder number 24, Grayson Barrett.
From Manitoba, played in Winnipeg, and Morningside University is in Sioux City, Iowa. So a true Midwesterner.
I have to ask him what he thinks of the. I guess we're not on the East Coast. We are we're in the East though.
Yeah, we're probably the East Coast to him.
Yeah.
First pitch, breaking ball to Barrett. Fish ain't biting on that one.
Well, Barrett hit an absolute moonshot yesterday.
Yeah, this is a hitter with confidence, and he smells blood in the water again. Bases loaded, 1 out. His team is already up by 1. Pitch from Workington up high. Julie Vittini trying to settle his pitcher down here in the early going. No question adrenaline's probably playing some part of it. Your IBL regular season debut, and you're being thrown into this situation. Pitch hit on the ground by Barrett. Williams is going to come home to try and get the force out, and they do.
Great
nice
play by Josh Williams at first base with the clairvoyance to come home with it. Keep the score at 1-0. Get the out at the plate.
And Workington does his job. He induces a swing from behind in the count against the lefty. And it's a harmless grounder to first. Williams with the presence of mind to get that force out.
Weiser's retired on the 3-2 put out at the plate. Morello goes to third. Mullen to second. And Grayson Barrett reaches on the fielder's choice.
Workington still one out away from tightroping out of this. First pitch swung on and missed by Brandon Hoope. And again, first pitch curveball from Workington, keeping them on their toes. We'll see if Workington can pick up his starter, Henriquez, here.
It's called a strike, and the count is 0-2 quickly here on Hoope.
If you told me at the start of the weekend that the Cardinals would get 6 1/3 combined from their starters across the 2 games, I probably would have winced, but they have the bullpen depth to make that a little more feasible this year than it was last year.
Well, exactly.
0-2 from
Last year,
Hoope, foul back.
you kind of been scrambling, going, okay, now who's going to pitch the rest of who's going to get us through the next couple of innings now?
A lot of rainouts, too, created a lot of those 3 games in 4 days situations where guys were tired. Bullpen's short. But without another scheduled game until next Thursday at Welland to complete the home and home, they got a few days to rest on it, so may as well empty the tank while you're here. The 0-2 from Workington is in the dirt. Vittini blocks it, and that saved another run.
Good job by Vittini behind the plate here to just keep it in front of him. prevent the run from coming home and then knocking it down, so it wasn't going to go too far either.
Patini impressed the Cardinals the most in the Dominican Republic with his maturity, his body language, and the way he called the game at catcher. Of course, the defensive skill coming with that. He's got a cannon of an arm, too.
Yeah, he does. Hupe hits this one on the gap here, but it's going to be tracked down by Pena in right field, and the Cardinals dodge the bullet here in the third inning. Jackfish will strand the bases loaded.
Nice work by Workington. Home half of the Cardinals' third coming up. We'll see if that lava avoidance in the top half gives some life to the offense here. I believe it's 8-9-1 for the Cardinals this inning. Tommy Reyes-Cruz.
Yep, where we are.
Brendan Daly and then Raquelman de Castro due up.
Bottom of the third inning here on Cardinals Baseball on C14. I'm Neil Shiroswell along with my partner Matt Crady. Welland Jackfish leading game one of the CH Cup here. 1-0 as Tommy Reyes-Cruz with the big knocks. In the eighth inning on Friday night, we'll get an opportunity to lead things off here against UK Liz Lair.
Tommy was a big rally starter at the bottom of the order for these Cardinals. First pitch swinging here on the ground at first. Marchese takes it himself. And just as the way the second inning ended for the Jackfish, an unassisted ground out to first.
And I bring up Brendan Daly now. The Swiss Army knife, as we like to call him here for the Cardinals. He can play pretty much anywhere and always looking for an opportunity to contribute. He'll make his season debut for the Cardinals now.
Daly subbing into Nico Katos' spot in left field today. Chris Piano just wanted to get a few different looks. This is Daly's first step out of the new season here. He really came on strong in the second half of last year. Finished with an average around 280. 1-0 from Lair, strike one. Daly not a fan of that inside strike call by Masuda. The count is now even. Lair, with 3 strikeouts and a walk up to this point in the game, relied more on weak contact last inning than he did in the first. And he pulls the string on Daly. That breaking ball was working, let me tell you.
That was. Daly thought it was more inside there than it was, and he took a hack and it looked like it was bad. He was just totally, completely missed on that one. It was a big whiff.
Lair has front-doored that pitch to righties, but he's also using it away, as you just saw. Commanding it well. And he just did it again as Daly had no answer.
No. And that's a veteran catcher, Robert Mullen, going, okay, the kid didn't understand, didn't have a clue on that one, so let's throw it again here and see if he still misses.
Yeah, exactly. Not making it more complicated than it has to be. I mean, it's hard to do that when the guy only throws 2 pitches to right-handers.
Yeah. Ricky DeCastro will be the batter now. He grounded out 5-3 to start the ball game.
DeCastro with supreme bat-to-ball skills. He had a near 90% zone contact rate last season. He chases a lot, but he's the kind of guy who can get away with that. And of course, I'm just referring to what we saw last season. DeCastro showed much improved patience in the preseason for the Cardinals. We'll see how he does here.
He laid off that one again.
But it was called a strike. One from Lair. DeCastro takes it, and there's that, again, that front door breaking ball bending back over the inner half. The guys think that it's going to hit them.
Yep, and DeCastro just froze on that one.
Split second later, it's a strike, and that's what those pitches are designed to do. Takes in the zone. If you can throw strikes and batters aren't threatened to swing, then you'll have a pretty easy time up there. DeCastro fouled that one down the line to extend the at-bat.
Luis Bernardo down to the third base coach today. He almost went and made a great grab on that one himself.
Even when he's coaching, still required to do his duties in the field, depending on where those foul balls go. DeCastro gets a piece of that one, and we'll do it again on 1-2. Tyler Duncan on deck should things continue. The meat of the Cardinals order is on the horizon here in inning number 3. Lair finds his footing. Gets set here on 1-2. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. How about Euclides Lair?
That was a dancy pitch.
A few strikeouts in the inning for Lair. He has thrown 3 shutouts thus far. We are through 3 here at Bernie Arbour. Your score remains 1-0 Jackfish here on Cardinals Baseball on Cable 14, presented by Life Labs.
We'll take another quick look at the Rawlings out-of-town scoreboard. We got scores across the league now. In Brantford, the Red Sox have taken a 3-1 lead on the Guelph Royals. That's in the bottom of the 4th inning. Top of the 4th inning in Kitchener, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers leading the Panthers 6-1. Bottom of the 3rd inning, it's all majors so far in Toronto at Dominical Field. It's 8-1 for the Maple Leafs, or the London Majors over the Maple Leafs. And back here in Courtney City is 1-0 Welland over your Cardinals.
Yeah, sounds like it was not as successful of an outing this time around for Ayami Sato.
And you guys, the majors and everything else, I'm sure they saw the debut and everything else, and they just probably, mental note, okay, we got to stay back here. We got to try to resist hitting her curveball or going after her curveball and waiting for the fastball to come across. Because the fastball, unfortunately, is not anywhere close to what anything else it is. It's more like it's pitching against Adamara.
Right.
As far as that stuff goes, it's not gonna beat anybody. It's not gonna be maybe 80-81. The curveball is what is her bread and butter pitch with that ridiculous spin rate.
And to her credit, she did mow through those Kitchener Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
Not only was it 2 scoreless, but it was 2 scoreless on less than 20 pitches.
14 pitches,
yeah.
And she was done.
Yeah. A lot of weak contact, weak ground balls. She was getting swings early in counts, poor swing decisions, rolling balls over in the infield, and that slider, that breaking ball does have tremendous spin and horizontal movement on it. The London Majors, though, came up more prepared this time.
I'd like to see her pitch in a ballpark like this with real dimensions rather than pitching it Dominical Field where it's just a launch pad.
That is always the asterisk when you're dealing with extremely short or long porches there.
Yep.
In terms of how you evaluate pitchers and hitters. Brendan Luther steps in as we bring things back here to Bernie Arbour.
Luther was 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up.
Takes a beautiful first pitch airbender from Workington there, and that is all 3 at-bats that he has brought out that breaking ball to start it off. He's using it to get him over in counts, and it worked that time. He's ahead. The 0-1, Luther shows bunt, pulls back, and it's another called strike on the breaking ball. Workington taking a page out of Euclides Lair's book.
It's working for him, so why can't it work for me?
The 0-2 to Luther, swung on and missed. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. After a couple looks at the breaking ball, Workington brought the high fastball that time. Luther could not catch up.
And he couldn't. Josh Marchese now. He's 0 for 1 as well. He went and struck out looking his last time up. Niagara University graduate.
Marchese's had a busy day over at first base. A lot of ground balls his way, especially with runners on. First pitch outside.
That's that curveball again. He was trying to get it across for the zone. That doesn't look like it just slipped out of his hand as he slipped a little bit off the mound here too. That one's in there for a call strike. Evens the count at 1-1.
As Neil said, Marchese, the Niagara University graduate, he also spent time out in the Western Canadian League in the Nanaimo BC in the summer of 2022. Hit .250 there in 21 games.
That one misses outside, count now 2-1.
Marchese listed on Baseball Reference as 6'2", 230. Big man with some pop over at first base from these Jackfish. 2-1, bends away again. Workington staying away from Marchese here, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah. He's just got that size and that build to him that's like, okay, if I get anything inside here, it's going a mile. Not where we want it.
They'll be aiming for those city workers out beyond the fence.
Yep.
Marchese takes the walk there on 3-1, and Workington's got a one-out base runner to deal with now is Tyson Gom.
Gom grounded out 6-3 his last time up.
And will take his second hacks here. This inning appears to be Workington's. No action yet in the Cardinals bullpen. Some people standing around out there, but not much throwing happening as Workington finds the outside corner on that fastball. Jump ahead of Gom 0-1. Workington the look over at first and then the pitch. Beautiful breaking ball, but doesn't get the strike call.
I don't know if that was low or not. It's just
perhaps inside, maybe?
Maybe. Well, Matsuda's right there on top of that, so I guess it must have been inside. In his judgment.
The 1-1 catches the corner, 1-2 now. Workington figured it out. Front dooring the breaking ball didn't work. I'll just throw another fastball down and away.
Yep. Then they got Tyson Gom guessing back here.
Two strikes on the Jackfish number 9 hitter, and that pitch gets away from Vittini, and up to second goes Marchese.
Be a pass ball likely.
Marchese not one to steal many bases, but again, you don't have to when the ball gets away like that.
Nope.
That is the second extra base that's been given up by a wild pitch / pass ball for the Cardinals in the early going here.
Now the infield will be playing back at the edge of the grass.
And the double plays out of order too.
Yep. This one's fouled away, and the count was rain 2-2.
Watch out down there, Gom. Sending some airmail into the concourse.
Yep, some souvenirs for kids that are just playing behind the grandstands here.
We'll have a surplus of baseballs pretty soon.
That they will.
2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Beautiful hook there from Workington for the second out.
He's definitely been impressive in his debut here.
And that's exactly what the Cardinals are looking for. When Henriquez's debut, I think the right word to describe it was shaky.
Yeah.
He wasn't overmatched by any means.
You know, he's in a warmer climate too, so maybe it was just a little kind of cold for him. They couldn't stay loose, didn't feel loose, and you can take many matter of excuses here, and you know, it just didn't get the job done, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Workington breathing some calm air into this game now as yet another first pitch strike on the breaking ball to Jonah Weisner, who has reached base his first 2 times up.
Yeah, he's definitely had some adventures in getting on base today.
You're definitely onto something about that point, and Henriquez thinking it's too cold. It was a solid 29, 30 degrees when we were down there for that tryout, and Luis Bernardo admitted that is colder as far as it goes down there. So can only imagine how the slightly below room temperature spring air feels now.
Well, I see Davey Mendez down there all the time with the Jackfish and everything else. He's just got the toque on. At least used to the jacket, the hoodie or something. I'm just like, we need to knit you a scarf and some mitts or something. Like, come on.
0-2 from Workington is right there for strike 3.
That was fun to watch.
Beautiful relief work by the Cardinals lefty here. The score remains 1-0 going bottom 4 here at Bernie Arbour Stadium. Workington with an inning and 2/3 now of scoreless relief. Got around that bases loaded 1-out situation in the first, or sorry, in the third.
Yep.
His first inning of work.
Well, now Layer's going to come back out here for the 4th inning. He's going to be dealing with Tyler Duncan, July Bettini, and Jonathan Salazzo. Cardinals looking for some base runners and a certain thing we don't mention as well. They don't got one of those yet either, so you never know.
Let's hope you didn't jinx him, Neil. As
I didn't say it, I just alluded to it.
Well, you did allude to the fact that we don't allude to it, so
yeah,
maybe that weird form of verbal inception
I hope not.
might cast a spell over this ballpark.
I don't want to will that there.
Speaking of which, Tyler Duncan is about to step in, and it was his at-bat in the bottom of the 9th, where I have no choice but to believe that Larry Wood was at play.
Oh, geez, when that ball went down the line and right in front of his sign.
Harmless looking fly ball to right field, and Brantford Red Sox right fielder Matt Torreson planted under it, and it looked like it was about to fall in his glove for the second out of the inning.
Just spun right out.
Right in front of the Larry sign, it just spun right out.
Yep.
Duncan wound up on second base and then later scored as the winning run.
Yep.
Larry causing chaos here. Of course, we are celebrating the life and legacy of Larry Wood at the ballpark today. I gotta say, his absence was felt in that office on Friday. It would be myself,
exactly.
Larry, whoever else on baseball ops would be popping in and out of the office. But last year, every single Cardinals home game.
Yep. I remember when I first met Larry. I think I was scoring for the Silver Creeks when we were at the Ontario Elimination Tournament. This had to be like 2004, 2005. It's the first time I ever met Larry, and it's just like he came up to me. He's like going, "So what are you doing here?" Because I guess his team was playing at the time. So he's like, it was like going, we don't like scouting these things or anything else. He was just giving me a hard time, and then it's like, and of course we played them. I think the following on the Sunday, and he came over to me. He's like, "I was just razzing you, kid. Don't worry," and everything else. Have fun. But I was just like scared. Could hear, here's this older gentleman coming after me.
Yeah.
As far as that stuff goes, and of course you see this line out in right field, thanks to the guys in the truck here. Or actually not in the truck. The guys below us here calling the shots. Is Tyler Duncan is actually going to send one right out Larry's way here. On his horse, he's going to second base, off Larry's hands, and Duncan's got himself a double.
Right on cue. How about that?
Larry's definitely having some fun upstairs.
Yeah. We love you, buddy. We know you're watching.
Yeah. And I think the ceremony before the game really struck the right chord here with what everybody's been feeling around this place. It's just not the same without him, but, at the same time, baseball and life goes on, but at the same time, we're going to do everything we can to honor his legacy.
Isn't that poetic? Isn't that serendipitous? Duncan, right on cue, launches one right up to the base of the Larry sign.
Yep.
So the Cardinals have their first hit and their first base runner and their first man in scoring position. So July Bettini's going to get a chance to redeem himself after going down swinging on a breaking ball from Layer his first time up.
And I guarantee the guys will hit the conversation on the bench and everything. So what did he throw you? Where is he throwing it? Is he tipping it off a little bit? So now guys are going to, the second time through the order here, are going to get a little bit of a read. And Bettini jumps on the first offer and he sees there. And thrown across. Bettini is retired on the 6-3. Duncan had to freeze in position there.
Yeah, left side of the infield, Duncan, unfortunately for the Cardinals, cannot advance there.
Yep.
So it's an unproductive at-bat for Bettini, the first pitch ground out.
And they'll bring up Jonathan Salazzo now, the conductor in his return to the Cardinals.
Yep, as we were talking about earlier, the lineup protection around Tyler Duncan means now that even with that disappointing result for Bettini, you have Salazzo and Williams waiting to try and pick up the slack here. Salazzo looking for his third hit of the young season already. First pitch fouled back. Salazzo, known affectionately as the conductor, because that is literally his day job.
That is his day job. Well, it used to be his night job, and then he switched to days last year, and that made him a lot happier because he didn't have to leave baseball games.
And that is all the better news for these Cardinals. Takes a slider away, 1-1.
And again, mad shout out to Mama Salazzo and Jonathan Salazzo for the lovely little bottle of sauce I got to take care of. And he came down afterwards and he said, you got to cook that stuff. You got to put your meat and everything else in it because, it's not just ready. It's just It's just basically tomatoes and ready to go.
Isn't that great?
So that'll be tomorrow. And of course, we are recording the Inside the IBL IBL Inside Pitch tomorrow podcast tomorrow too. So maybe I'll just pull the bowl and eat it on during the podcast to make Mark a little tad jealous.
Now that is marketing. Salazzo takes that one at the knees, and the count's even at 2-2.
You can find that one, of course, where podcasts are, and on YouTube as well.
Yep, stay tuned on all things IBL. 2-2, Salazzo fouls it off his foot. Stays alive.
He's going to get the baseball himself. Nah, maybe not.
And we've just received word from our PA guy, Josh Bain, that Liam Hicks has hit another home run.
Wow.
What a start to his MLB career it's been. Of course, Liam's younger brother, Connor, currently on the inactive list for the Hamilton Cardinals. We'll see what his plans are for the summer shortly. Congrats to Liam.
That is so great.
2-2, and Salazzo sends this one up the shaft, down the left field line. Over there is Sanford.
And nobody's going to get to it.
But the diving play by Wisner, it's in and out of his glove. I think it would have been foul anyhow.
Yeah, it was still foul.
But that was nearly a tremendous play.
Sanford had a beat on it, but just couldn't get to it in time, and then Wisner came over and called him off.
I'd like to thank Salazzo for popping that one up and giving me the chance to use one of my favorite Reed Duffy-isms. Up the elevator
up
shaft.
the shaft, there we go, yeah.
So we'll do it again on 2-2 as Layer has yet to be able to put away Salazzo this at-bat. We'll see if the third time's the charm. Duncan off second, one gone in the inning. Swung on and missed, strike three. The changeup gets him. And there's two away now. Josh Williams will come in. He was the victim of some poor fortune his first time up. He hit one right on the screws into left field, but Grayson Barrett barely had to move.
That he did. He hit right at him. He was like he just took a step to his left and put the glove up. Hit it with the same force next time, but just, a little lower. And you should be okay.
Williams with 4 RBI in the opener. Can he make it number 5 here?
Well, he was among the leaders in RBIs until Cardoso had another big day at the plate there. Now I think he's about 3rd or 4th down the list.
I imagine those two might be in a back and forth all season long for that category.
It's great to see him back here. Great to see him healthy and just, loving the game again.
Yeah, not his first stint with the Cardinals. Williams also saw some action with the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers last year. Injuries were a part of it, but he came back with Chatham and he was in good shape right off the bat. Hit a home run in Toronto to dead center. And now back in Hamilton this year. Well, that one swung on and missed now for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Man on second. 2's all over. Williams looking to keep the inning going and perhaps score Duncan here. The pitch from Layer, and that is not going to happen. Strike 3. He is frozen on that pitch that ran back over the heart of the plate. So the Cardinals are off the schneid and on the hit column and the base runner column, but still searching for that elusive first run as Logan Workington is coming back out, already an inning and 2/3 of relief under his belt, and the Cardinals are looking for him to make this a bulk outing. And he's done a good job so far.
And he has. Nobody else is down there throwing, but there is a bevy of bullpen guys ready to go down there. Cardinals do have a few days off before Thursday night back in Welland. And then the CK Barnstormers are here on Friday night for Friday Night Baseball.
Yeah, it's games 2 and 3 of the season to have a home and home against Welland. That sets the tone early. And of course, as we've been talking about, the inaugural edition of the QEW Cup this year, the winner of the season series between these Jackfish and these Cardinals will receive a trophy. That QEW Cup presented by CHCH. It's nice to see the IBL with some more marketing traction, more fanfare coming out of this budding rivalry between these two ball clubs.
Yep.
234. Morello.
I'm sure the pond will once again be full Thursday night. Of course, it was a sellout yesterday. 3,200 plus yesterday at the pond watching the ball game, and of course the fireworks show afterwards. Brought to you by the folks at CAA Niagara as well. Alec Murray and Reese Damani with the call last night. I was watching that one and bouncing back before that, and the Triton Camp Kitchener game as well.
Lots of baseball to be had. We've got a fun summer ahead of us.
Of course, if you're a hockey fan, you know you're going to have your eyes glued tonight on the television as well.
Yeah, that might be an understatement. So in steps Gio Morello. He struck out and was hit by a pitch. Henriquez is no soft tosser, so that can't have felt good, but Morello escaped without injury.
Yep.
And he's right back up there now to lead off inning number 5.
Well, last night Mullen looked like he took one off the hand too, so it's good to see him behind the plate.
Yeah, and those ones up by the hand are always the scariest. You never know. A matter of millimeters, it could mean a broken bone, but
yep.
Thankfully Mullen appears to have dodged that fate. Workington is up, down, in and out, but not quite in the zone.
Oh no, Cleveland Brownlee 2 years ago in the postseason took one right off the hand, and that was it for him. He was out of the series.
Yeah, they can be devastating. There's a strike from Workington as he tries to battle back here. Now 3-1.
You got Drew Mainprize warming up down in the bullpen now for the Cardinals.
Strike 2 on Morello. He started the walk down to first base, but Tak Matsuda said not so fast. Workington found the inside corner with that one. So back-to-back fastballs here from Workington to get back in the count, and now we will have a payoff to Morello. Workington set. Here it comes, and swung on and missed. Nice work by Workington to battle back, and now Morello will have some words with Tak Matsuda about that previous 3-1 pitch. Here's the two gentlemen are keeping it civil.
Yep. That's probably why just asking again where it was and everything else. Was it on the swing, or was it because my hands went drop down there through, and that's why you called it?
So Workington, that is strikeout number 4, I believe.
You are correct. He's done Yelman's job since he came on with the bases loaded.
So the Cardinals, with Drew Mainprize warming up, another lefty. So with Workington and presumably Mainprize out, that means Chris Boato will be the only lefty left in that bullpen. Of course, these matchups are at the top of mind with so many lefty hitters in the Jackfish lineup.
Kind of makes sense too. You know, you want to go battle lefty-lefty here.
2-0 pitch to Sanford is in there for strike 1. Nice breaking ball from Workington. Of course, there is also Connor Corey, who is a righty, but in essence can be very effective against left-handed hitters. The changeup is that calling card of his. And he's ran some pretty dramatic reverse splits thanks to that pitch last year. Sanford belts this one to center. Tyler Duncan drifting back toward the warning track, but he's under it, and he will make the catch for out number 2.
I was about to say I was going to have to yell at Jake Sanford because he promised he was going to hit one here today.
He promised you that, did he?
I was trying to just, hey, don't hit one too hard here today, please.
Yeah. Bernie Arbour is one of the deeper parks in the league, so you got to give it a good ride to hit it out here. Sanford, of course, is capable of that. He did it during the school day game, but
well, these two teams are very familiar with deep yards in center field. Of course, 406 at the pond. It's 405 to center field. Of course, anything that's got documented here at Bernie Arbour, so they beat us by a foot.
I believe Barry's also 405 as well. Major League-esque dimensions for those 3 parks. As Workington's first pitch, or Robert Mullen, way inside.
So it's hard to tell which way the wind is blowing, but we know it's just blowing because you can just feel it on our faces again.
Yeah, Hurricane Bernie.
Last year the Barnstormers were here when we had the kind of wind gusts and everything else, and baseballs we thought were going to stay in the yard suddenly didn't.
Yeah, it was blowing out on Friday too, but it isn't always that way. The wind is an unpredictable yet damning force here.
Yeah.
It can wreak havoc on the game at any moment. 2 strikes now on Mullen. The pitch from Workington. Popped in the air to right. Yoki Pena shading over to his left. He's back at the wall, and he leaps up, and it's gone. Well, you're talking about the wind, and that one just kept going. That looked like a routine fly ball into right, and Pena was all the way back, and it just kept on going, and Robert Mullen,
once again,
back at his favorite road ballpark.
Yep.
That is another home run for Mullen against these Cardinals, picking up right where he left off last year. It's a solo blast, and the score is now 2-0.
And he is. He gets the low fives and high fives from his teammates down the line here. Pena is still having words out there.
He lost his glove.
Oh, jeez. So we had to go get the glove for him. So he almost had the beat on it.
Well, it was a wall scraper. Just barely got over. So Mullen goes oppo.
Now with the plate left fielder number 24, Grayson Barrett.
And Grayson Barrett, as the inning continues, takes ball one upstairs. There's a strike on Barrett. Mullen was one of the many Jackfish who hit over 300 last year. His slug was also over 500. Swing and a miss by Barrett, 1-2. Mullen's 7 home runs were third on the team last year behind Steve Moretto and Mateo Porcelato. His 42 RBIs led the club by a decent margin. So that power production is all the way back for Welland this year. It's not going anywhere. And Barrett's no slouch in himself, but Workington's got him on the ropes here with 2 strikes. Pitch down and away. And that'll run it full. Drew Mainprize now standing idle in the Cardinal bullpen. Pitch from Workington upstairs for ball 4. So he got 2 quick outs, but then the home run by Mullen and now the walk to Barrett. And that appears to have spelled the end of the day for Logan Workington.
Yep.
He came on in relief in a dangerous situation. Picked up his starter, Ramon Henriquez, and got out of it. But things spun out of control pretty quickly here in inning number 5. Nevertheless, Workington ate some key innings and got the Cardinals out of some precarious situations during this outing.
As Drew Mainprize will take the mound here for the Cardinals.
No doubt some positive things to take away from Workington despite the negative note that he exits on.
Oh, exactly. After you get the home run, it's kind of hard to do it, and you see how he does against the next batter, and it looks like okay, he's a little bit rattled. You don't want to wreck his confidence, and you don't want him to have a negative impact out here as far as in his mindset too, because he's pitched rather well here.
Exactly, and as we said, the Cardinals have the schedule set up in such a way, as well as the depth of the arms in the bullpen, that they can afford to rinse and repeat and not necessarily leave somebody like Workington out there for too long in a bulk outing. So that'll bring out Drew Mainprize, and he came onto the scene in a big way in 2024 after an inconsistent start to his IBL career. 11 strikeouts and 3 walks in 11 2/3 innings.
And you definitely saw the maturity with him last year in his sports. I saw it firsthand when he was with the University of Guelph Griffins as well. He just seemed to start to evolve into a better pitcher as he got more opportunities, got an opportunity and chances to play against some better talent too.
Mainprize's ERA was 6.17, but to tell you the truth, Neil, I'm not a fan of using ERA to judge relievers. No. The sample size is just so small.
Oh, exactly. And usually, sometimes when relievers come in, it's okay. You come in big with inherited base runners too. There's nothing that, there's no stat that says, okay, I came in against, Usually there's at least 1 or 2 guys on base when I'm coming into a ball game.
Yep, inherited runners are a big deal. If you're a fan of using fielding independent ERA estimators to judge a reliever's true talent, Drew Mainprize had a 3.48 FIP last season, so that's basically what his ERA, quote-unquote, should have been based on the 3 true outcomes: strikeouts, walks, home runs.
Yep.
So, for all intents and purposes, Mainprize was a lot closer to a mid-3s ERA pitcher than the results would suggest last season, and that's what you need out of this bullpen, and that's pretty good in a high-scoring league such as this one. So he's still got to get himself out of this one. 2 gone and a man on first thanks to the 2-out walk by Barrett. Brandon Hoope takes ball 1. That one squeaks by Bettini, and the pass ball is going to allow Barrett to scoot up to second. Bettini's throw was not in time. Bettini normally sound defensively, but he's had some trouble back there today with the balls in the dirt, recovering them. Probably trying to get a feel for this Bernie Arbour dirt. Swung on and missed by Hoope. Count is even. Hoope, the UBC product, spent some time in Kelowna and Nanaimo, WCL. 4 games in the Frontier League last year with Trois-Rivières. Jackfish outfielder back for another season as the 1-1 is swung on and missed. Nice pitch by Main Prize. Let's jump ahead 1-2.
Not afraid to challenge the zone here. That's a good thing and a good sign here.
Yeah, maturity and confidence, as you were alluding to, Neil, is much more present watching Drew Main Prize go about his business last year. The Cardinals would love it if that could carry over into 2025. As the 1-2 is just down, Bettini tried to buy it to no avail.
It definitely looked like it was down because it was right over the heart of the plate.
Another 2-strike pitch on the way to Brandon Hoope. Barrett out at second. Pitch is tapped foul. He just got a piece of it to stay alive. Main Prize looks in. I do wonder if the Cardinals will give him the 6th inning too, if he can get out of this without too much trouble. Main Prize at times last year was a double play specialist. Of course, inducing those ground ball double plays is a way to stay efficient and keep your pitch count down as a reliever. Gives you the chance to eat more outs. But he's run it full here on Hoope. The payoff is in the dirt for ball 4. So Main Prize lost him after being ahead 1-2. And the inning will continue as the Jackfish 2-0 rally rolls on here.
Second baseman, number 20, Brendan Luther.
As we trickle down to the bottom of the order here for the 3rd time, Brendan Luther.
He's got a pair of strikeouts in the contest.
Yeah, he was not up to the task against Henriquez or Workington. We'll see how he fares here against Main Prize.
Looks like he's changed his lumber since the last time up to it as well.
Yeah, that's another color that jumps out at you, the light blue on Luther's bat here. First pitch grounded down to first, just foul. Williams knocked it down but couldn't get a glove on it, so it's probably a good thing that it went foul because Main Prize might not have gotten to the bag in time to cover. Sun trying to fight through the clouds here at Bernie Arbour. It's a pleasant Victoria Day Sunday.
Yeah, definitely a lot colder than it was Friday here, that's for sure.
Friday's got to be one of the warmest season openers in recent memory. Balmy high 20s.
And a much happier day than it was last year with the fog and the rain.
Goodness.
I just remember Larry going out through the rain and that and everything else. And
yeah, poor Larry was walking through puddles.
Yep.
What an awful day that was. That game was made up on Canada Day weekend, of course. The Guelph Royals took it from the Cardinals 6-2. The 1-1 from Main Prize. Hit in the air, shallow outfield. Reyes Cruz coming out, Pena coming in, but it would be the second baseman, Tommy Reyes Cruz, to make the catch on the soft fly ball from Luther.
Jackfish do get another run of cards to get the solo blast by Robert Mullen that started the inning off here, and now lead this one 2-0.
So once again, the Cardinals will look to their bats to try and get them back in this.
Taking a quick look at the Rawlings Canada out-of-town scoreboard. Bottom of the 6th inning in Brantford, the Red Sox holding on to a lead. It's 3-1 over the Gulf Royals. Top of the 5th inning in Kitchener, the Panthers have answered back. It's now 7-5 Barnstormers over Panthers. Bottom of the 4th inning in Common Equal Field, the Maple Leafs have answered back as well. Now it's 8-5, the London Majors leading that one. So a lot of teams playing catch-up here on a Sunday afternoon, and surprisingly, nobody's playing on a long weekend Monday.
Yeah.
Again, it's just, I get it. This league is going pretty much Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday night, Tuesday night, or Monday afternoon is not usually an option as well.
That's another telltale sign that we are truly back here this IBL season. A couple 7-5 and 8-5 scores, and we're barely in the middle innings in Kitchener and Toronto.
Yeah.
Never changed, Jack Couch. Never changed, Dominico Field.
Nope.
The sandboxes that you are.
And it's just, I don't know. It's just
no lead
launch
is safe.
pads.
Yeah.
Launch pads. Even with the 20-foot tall fence in right field, you can still hit a launch pad out here. And the kids having a blast down with Emily in the front rows here.
Are they ever? Never a dull moment here at Bernie Arbour. Shout out, of course, to the Cardinals' fantastic game day staff, led by their host, Emily Thompson, the party starter.
The party starter, the Pied Piper of all the children.
We shift our focus back to the field here as we enter the bottom of the 5th. This game's moving along quite nicely now, as Jaden Brown will lead it off against Euclides Lyer. First pitch swung on and missed, strike one, and Layers got that hooking breaking ball back out in full force.
It's definitely working. That's what I definitely remember the most about him from 2019. It was just how much the baseball moved out of his hand.
And that was just some unfair pitch tunneling on Jaden Brown there, as then he ran the fastball down and in. He swung through both of them, and he's quickly down 0-2 here. The pitch from Layer.
Wow.
Called strike 3. What an at-bat there.
Froze Brown at the plate.
Mighty work.
He didn't have a choice there.
Yeah, I don't blame him for taking. Might have been a generous call by Matsuda.
But again, that's a veteran pitcher out there showing the umpire earlier in the game, hey, I'm going to throw it out here. It's going to be a strike at some point.
That again goes back to what we were talking about with Henriquez. If you can command that strike zone early, you increase your chances of buying yourself some favors from the umpire later on.
Yeah.
And Layer definitely did that to start, and he's now being rewarded. First pitch to Yoki Pena is a buzzing fastball there for a strike. Pena had his first official IBL at bat when he grounded out last time up. Of course, the first 5 plate appearances were all walks. He had a 401 career on base percentage in rookie ball for the Rockies. So that was his MO, and he grounds another one out to second here. Go to first in time by Brendan Luther. 2 quick outs here for Layer.
Bring up Tommy Reyes-Cruz, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out 3 unassisted his last time up.
Reyes-Cruz whipped that line drive down the line in the later innings against the Red Sox to start a rally for the Cardinals. He scored as the tying run on that Josh Williams walk-off hit. Tyler Duncan right behind him as the winning run. Reyes-Cruz hits the first pitch on the ground and through the hole on the right side. It'll be a 2-out single.
Reyes-Cruz doing his best to lobby for more playing time, even though with the impending arrival of Brendan Nickel.
Yeah, he's definitely doing his due diligence right now. Reyes-Cruz, the Montreal product. He hit just under 300 in his rookie season for the London Majors in 2023. Last year's season was abbreviated. And now he's here in Hamilton. So the inning continues for Brendan Daly, who swings through that first pitch from Layer. The fastball with that arm side action is proving tough on these righty hitters at the bottom of the Cardinal lineup. Layer's locating it well down and in, and they're swinging over top of it. Reyes-Cruz the lead from first. Daly takes the 0-1 slider. And for a 2-pitch guy, Layer's doing a pretty great job of keeping him guessing up there. He's not leaving much to assume when you only throw that many pitches.
Yeah.
Fastball, breaking ball against the righties, and then the changeup mixed in against the lefties. But he's mixing him up about as well as you can as Daly swings through that breaking ball offering.
1 hit, 1 left.
Strikeout on 3 pitches. And the Cardinals strand the 2-out single from Reyes Cruz. We are through 5. The Jackfish continue to lead 2-0. Top of inning number 6 coming up, and Nico Kikatos was the first out of the dugout for the Cardinals. He did not start today. He's hovering there. Let's see what happens next inning.
Stepping up to the plate, first baseman.
Marchese settling in. It is, in fact, Drew Mainprice. Back out. As he will try and make it an inning and a third of relief work here of Ramon Henriquez and Logan Workington. 1-1 now on Marchese.
Marchese 0 for 1 in the contest. A strikeout on a walk.
I was wondering if Nico Kikatos was coming into the game for the Cardinals as a defensive substitution because he was first out of the dugout after that last half inning, but he was just very ready to throw with Brendan Daly out there. So things are still as per usual for the Cardinals on defense, and as we shift our attention over to the bullpen, it looks like they'll just empty the tank with all the lefties.
Yep.
As former Welland Jackfish Chris Boato, the third and final lefty available out of that Cardinals bullpen, is warming up as Marchese with an absolute bullet to right field. That one is way gone. My goodness.
And that's why the Jackfish got this guy right there. That power.
Lefty doesn't matter. Mainprice left that pitch up, and you knew it was gone the second it left the bat. It's Marchese's first home run of the day. The Jackfish's second, as he joins Robert Mullen on the home run parade. That's homers in back-to-back innings for Welland, and the score is now 3-0.
Step up to the plate, designated hitter number 25, Tyson Grom.
If there is such a thing as an opposite to what Robert Mullen's home run was, that was it.
Yep. Mullins just kind of hung up in the air, and the win to get this one was a no-doubter.
Yeah, right into the jet stream opposite field compared to just absolutely punished. Tyson Grom takes a first pitch strike from Mainprice as he looks to shake that one off.
Grom, of course, 0 for 2 in the contest, a ground out and a strikeout.
1-0, and Grom flicks it in the left, but it'll hang up for Brendan Daly. Catch is made, one gone. So for the fourth time now, the order turns over. Jonah Weisner.
Weisner's got a walk, a single, and a strikeout. Run scored.
As his perfect day at the plate was ruined by Workington. Last time up, but it's been a productive day overall for the top of the order to this Jackfish team. Pitch from Main Prize, called strike. Weisner started to go around, but looked like he was going to be in there anyway. Fastball right on the edge of the zone. Main Prize is set, and the 0-1 here. Skips it in there. Fattini blocks it. And the count's 1-1. So it looks like Boato will be next up for the Cardinals. Spent a few seasons in Welland from Alderson Broaddus University. Main Prize had that one slip out of his hand. Struggling to find the release point right now as it's 2-1. Yoki Pena could barely give us a courtesy jog on that home run by Marchese. It was hit that well. 2-1 up high again. Boato throwing with more and more intent down there. We'll see if Main Prize is given the rest of this inning or if the Cardinals will make a switch midway through.
That one misses inside, and that's going to be a free pass for Weisner, his second of the ball game.
And they are not, as Chris Piano is out. With two more lefties on deck, he trusts Boato to face the heart of this Jackfish order, as the veteran southpaw will sub in here for Main Prize, and the train of lefties out of the Cardinal bullpen continues here. As Main Prize's day is done. He got the Cardinals out of the last half inning, but had some trouble this one. The home run by Marchese, the walk to Weisner. It'll be 2/3 of an inning for Main Prize in his season debut as Chris Boato comes in. He was one of the more reliable guys on the team once he came over mid-season from the Jackfish. Boato induced a lot of chase. It was a small sample size, only 28 plate appearances, but a chase rate near 40%. Throws a lot of first pitch strikes too.
Does have 11 career saves as well, so mostly with the Jackfish.
And another fun piece of trivia from that Jackfish championship winning season, Boato was the one who recorded the final out.
Yep.
Threw his glove about 100 feet in the air at then Vintage Throne Stadium. As the mob began, the Jackfish blew the Baycats out of the water in that deciding game. Boato, a year ago today, pitched at this stadium as a member of the Jackfish in one of his last outings with the team. For those of you who may remember, last season the schedule shook out in the same way. The Cardinals hosted the Jackfish on the first Sunday of the season.
That they did.
At Bernie Arbour.
Put up a lot of runs in that contest.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point, is that it was a little different. I think by this point, both teams are already more than 5 runs. The Cardinals ended up winning it by a score of 13-9 off the backs of the home run by Andrew Johnston in his IBL debut.
And Connor Hicks hit one in that game as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe Boato was the one who was pitching when Johnston went yard.
Yep.
And now it comes back full circle as they are teammates. The Cardinals coaching staff is wasting no time. They clearly have a plan here in this bullpen, as Boato hasn't even finished throwing his warm-up pitches yet, and Connor Corey is already up and throwing. So they clearly have a process here for how they want to go about this. As I mentioned earlier, Corey is essentially like a lefty with the fact that he's got that changeup that plays so well against the opposite hand. So the Cardinals will go with their 3 lefties and then their lefty in disguise out of this bullpen. The perfect counter for this Welland lineup, as we've said.
Marlowe's got a pair of strikeouts and has been hit by the pitch.
Morello and Boato, great friends from their times together as teammates, but they'll have to put that aside here for this at-bat as Chris starts him off with a strike, 0-1.
I'm sure there'll be some conversations about bragging rights about who gets the best of this at-bat later.
No doubt about it. Morello sized it up well that time, but he fouled it back to the screen, and it's 0-2. So quickly ahead now, 0-2, and for the first time as we look to our right, there's action in the Jackfish bullpen. Morello swats that one into center field, and it drops in front of Tyler Duncan for a base hit. So, bragging rights to Morello.
Advantage Geo.
Bellato was living all over the zone there, and Morello looked at the first one, fouled off the second one, but by the third time through, he had got a feel for that pitch in the zone, so sized it up well and took it right back up the middle for a textbook line drive base hit. Jose Dominguez appears to be the one throwing for the Welland Jackfish down in that bullpen, as Layer has thrown 5 shutout up to this point. Dominguez spent some time, I believe, as a member of the San Diego Padres organization. As Bellato is quickly behind now, 3-0 on Jake Sanford. Jackfish threatening here once again, as after the walk by Main Prize, Bellato served up the single to Morello. And now Jake Sanford is hitting again with multiple runners on. The Cardinals have got away with being in this situation so far, but you don't want to tempt fate and keep giving this guy RBI opportunities. 2-1, Sanford hits it into foul territory. John Salazzo giving chase, and it is off the fence, foul. But with 2 strikes on Sanford, the crowd knows what's at stake here. Sanford, today's weenie man of the game. If he strikes out here, hot dogs will be half off for the remainder of the inning.
Yep.
Sanford has played here before. He's no doubt aware of the Sunday afternoon weenie man of the game promotion.
Yeah, that he is, but
he does not want to strike out here.
No. It's not like he's paying for them, though, so you know.
Touche. Waddle comes set in the 2-2. Swung on and popped up again into foul territory. Behind the plate, Fittini gives chase, and it was into the crowd.
Ouch. And then
hit that young fan right in the head.
Yeah.
We hope he's okay, as trainers are
no
frantically motioning for St. John's here.
Yeah.
We'll take a brief pause. That ball was hit a mile high. Even if you were tracking it with your eyes, it would have been hard to see it coming down.
He was just walking down to the bathroom or something, or just walking back up from the bathroom, and unfortunately just got one off the top of the head.
Well, we'll hope he's okay, as Bellato comes set for another 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Sanford chases the breaking ball. And he did the one thing that he was trying not to do. That is a strikeout for the weenie man of the game. Hot dogs will be half off for the rest of the inning. So the Jackfish may be up 3-0, but Sanford just made a whole bunch of people happy here at this stadium.
And he did.
Of course, the Cardinals are not out of danger yet, as Robert Mullen, with the homer his last time up the other way, steps in. First pitch from Bellato is tapped foul. Mullen swung over top of it and just got a piece of it with the bottom of the barrel. Connor Corey still active, warming up down there in that Cardinal bullpen. We figure to see him at some point in the 7th. It was Boone, Sorosky, Peters, and Rodney on Friday night, so a lot of the returning members of the Cardinal bullpen are getting their first looks today. As Mullen hits this one in the air to center field, but it is playable. Duncan is shading back and makes the catch. The inning is over. So Bellato works around the single to Morello, battles out of a first and second one-out situation, and the Jackfish lead will remain at 3-0. going to the bottom half of inning number 6 as the leadoff home run by Marchese, the only damage in that frame. Bellato is sprinting back out to the bullpen here to stay warm.
Another quick gander at the out-of-town scoreboard once again. Brantford still leading that one 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bottom of 6 in Kitchener. It's still 7-5 for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers over the Panthers. Bottom of the 5th inning, that game seems to be taking a snail's pace, and a group of 18 runs scored in that ballgame now. But the London Majors are leading the Toronto Maple Leafs now 10-8.
Oh.
So, you got the softball score going on a Sunday afternoon at Dominico Field.
Yeah, as we said, no lead is safe at the small ballparks like that.
No.
Credit to the Toronto Maple Leafs for battling. They had a bittersweet offseason, of course, the acquisition of former Cardinal Dennis DeBanning, the signing of Ayami Sato, but the loss of their longtime veteran John Salazzo. And after a narrow loss on opening day, they had an impressive, gutsy extra inning victory at Barrie on Thursday. And they were down by a long shot at one point in this game against London. So
they're making a game of it again, so yes.
I didn't think a few innings ago that you were going to need to keep referring to the out-of-town scoreboard as much as you were with those two seemingly blowout games developing in Kitchener and Toronto, and then all of a sudden you look and bam.
It's like, hey, they're back into these games. And of course, those are the home teams playing on their home ballparks, too, that are trailing right now. So they definitely know the nooks and crannies a little better than the other team, that's for sure.
DeBanning, the former Cardinal, with a couple homers in his first 2 games.
Well, last year he had 2 homers in the first game in the regular season against Kitchener in Kitchener. So it was like, yeah, okay, it's typical Dennis DeBanning.
Yeah, he gets off to hot starts.
He's the ideal equivalent of Mr. O'Neill.
If I'm not mistaken, the first of those home runs came off Yadian Martinez, who's the same one he hit it off of as a member of the Maple Leafs this time. So
exactly.
If on IBL opening day 2026 you see Martinez facing Dennis DeBanning,
yeah,
bet the house.
Bet the house. Yeah, just bet the farm while you're at it too.
Back in action here at Bernie Arbour. Raquelbin de Castro swings at the first pitch of the bottom of inning number 6 and bloops it to shallow center. And tracking it successfully is Wisner to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here. Euclides Laird out for his 6th inning of work, and the Cardinals have not been seeing as many pitches as they were on Friday against the Red Sox. They haven't made it as difficult on Laird as they were on Nikolai Arbach. Even when they weren't scoring runs on Friday, they were making him work through it. Arbach had a couple innings where his pitch count was way north of 20, but Laird has sped right along here. Jose Dominguez still throwing in that Jackfish bullpen.
Interesting to see him make his debut here, that's for sure.
Dominguez has 56 innings of Major League experience to his name. In 2016, he pitched in the San Diego Padres bullpen, 35 2/3 innings that season. Career .482 ERA.
Not often you see a guy in this league that can break 100.
Yeah, at his peak, Dominguez was regularly in the high 90s.
Yeah.
The count is 1-1 on Tyler Duncan. And he whips another one into right field, and it hangs up. Caught by Brandon Hoope. Some more tough batted ball luck for the Cardinals today.
Bring up July Bettini now. 0 for 2 in the contest, a strikeout and a ground out to the shortstop his last time up. Looking for 7-11 to get something going here.
Yeah, Bettini's got that open stance. And as we were talking about earlier, a penchant for knowing the strike zone. He got on base an awful lot for somebody who didn't hit for that high of an average when he was in the Dominican Rookie League with the Pittsburgh Pirates. But he's down quickly here, 0-2. He has been overmatched by Euclides Laird today.
Of course, Little Birdie told us that the Welland Jackfish traveling scorer down there, Gary Mioto, sorry if I say your last name wrong, has turned 70 years old today. So congratulations to Gary. Long-time volunteer with the Jackfish.
0-2 from Laird. Bettini fouls it back and stays alive.
I always have great conversations with him, usually before games.
Yeah, he would have seen the full ascension from the Jackfish to perennial contender that they are right now. 1-2 pitch, down and in. Bettini battles back here. It's now 2-2. Layer got the first pitch pop out from DeCastro, and then Duncan scorched it to right, but right at Brendan Hooper. Bettini is getting a feel for that delivery from Layer. This at bat, he's had a couple hard hit foul balls, but straight back. He's trying to battle here and extend this inning. For John Salazzo waiting on deck. Salazzo 0 for 2 in the contest today. 2-2, and Bettini pops it way up. Mullen and Marchese are over, and it's Robert Mullen to make the catch right in front of his dugout.
Flips the ball into the dugout there.
Beautiful performance by Euclides Layer today. 6 shutout innings. In his return to the Welland Jackfish 6 years later after he debuted there.
He gets the handshakes and the hugs, so I think his day is done.
Yeah, that'd be a wise assumption, as Jose Dominguez will presumably get most of the rest of the way here. You see Davey Mendez up there getting loose too.
Yep. Would not be surprised to see Davey probably get the 9th inning here if the score stays the way it is here.
Yeah, this has Dominguez for 7-8 and then Mendez 9 written all over.
Yeah, and it's just it's game over. It's pretty much automatic shut the door kind of time. So the Cardinals have got to get some runs in a hurry.
The last time the Jackfish played here at Bernie Arbour, it was an early August regular season game last year. Teodoro Ortega took a perfect game into the 6th. And the Cardinals lost that game 2-0. It was a great pitcher's duel between Ortega and Mizuki Akatsuka, who, by the way, handled these Jackfish beautifully last season. The Cardinals, with that, have not scored in 15 innings and counting against these Jackfish.
Well, the Gulf Royals had that kind of number going against the Jackfish too, so it was like, yeah.
Chris Boato's back out there. He worked around a single to Morello to get 2 outs last inning.
Corey is still out there. Looks like he's just kind of waiting the wings here if Boato gets into any trouble in the inning.
It'll be Barrett, Hoope, and Luther due up for the Jackfish. Lefty, righty, lefty. So we'll see. There doesn't seem to appear to be an obvious answer about when the right time is to bring Connor Corey into this game, but Boato's already been in there for 2 outs, so if he can go an inning in 2/3 today, that would be some more outs eaten.
I think it looks like Nico's out in the outfield right now by the looks of it.
Yep, I jumped the gun on it earlier, but Nico Caquetos has indeed taken over left field for Brendan Daly. Caquetos had a couple of good ABs in Friday night's opener in his IBL regular season debut. A decorated hitter at the University of Toronto and the WCBL. But he did struggle both on the bases and in the field. He's going to try and clean that up now that he's in this ball game in the later innings. Caquetos has shown a penchant for taking the ball the other way, spraying a lot of balls to right field, just as he did for his base hit, his first career IBL hit on Friday night, as Boato starts Barrett off with a strike. The 0-1 just down. Bettini once again trying to buy it. Pitch framing is an art.
Definitely is.
Julie Bettini.
And Barrett watched that one all the way into the glove there too.
1-1 in there for strike 2. Perfectly placed fastball there by Chris Boato. As he forges on against his former teammates here. Barrett sends that one on the ground the other way. Jaden Brown up with it at short. The low throw to first, and Williams can't take it out.
An infield single as the official score is called. Grayson Barrett's aboard with a single to start the 7th inning.
Thanks once again to Nate for the quick ruling on that one. It wasn't a great throw by Brown. He's got tremendous arm strength over there, but we saw him skip one over on Friday night, and he did it again there. He's trying to find the release point from shortstop. Brown can play the infield and outfield. He told me before batting practice at the school of the games that he likes the infield better, but I'm sure he's happy to go wherever the Cardinals need him.
Oh, exactly. He wants to stay in the lineup, that's for sure.
The 1-0 from Boato, and Hoope drills it down the left field line, and it bounces in front of Kaketos for a base hit. So back-to-back singles now to open up the inning. One of them didn't get out of the infield, but of course that is baseball. And the Cardinals are going to have to try and tightrope out of another one. Brendan Luther coming up with runners on.
Luther is 0 for 3 in the contest, a pair of strikeouts and a fly out to the second baseman.
Luther again, accomplished hitter at Bellevue and in the WCL. The Jackfish have him bunting here, but he drops it foul. Boato's been in these situations before, a veteran reliever. You got to keep the heart rate slow with runners on. Again, he was a very steady presence upon coming over mid-season last year. A lefty specialist out of the bullpen, pitched in some high leverage spots, had a knack for finding the zone. Didn't walk anybody. He has yet to do so in a Hamilton Cardinals uniform. Well, that pitch skipped out of his hand early, and he spiked it. So the count is even now on Brendan Luther. I don't know if I want to see Marchese hitting with runners on after that last swing.
No.
Boato looking for a ground ball here. He can spin those up if he wants, but Luther is going to try and beat it with a sac bunt. This time he keeps it in play. Boato turns and throws to first in time. Pitchers are athletes too. Chris Fielding is positioned well there. The sacrifice moves the runners up both into scoring position.
Goes on the book as a sack 1-3 for Luther.
The Cardinals do get that first out, but still a prime run scoring opportunity here for Josh Marchese.
You got Barrett and you got Hoope. Barrett's now at third, Hoope at second. Infield will come in here to knock this one down. Keep it at a 3-0 deficit here if it's hit at them.
Marchese barreled one about 30 feet beyond that KFC banner in right field for the home run.
And we left in a hurry.
And he just tried to do it again there. Swung out of his shoes on that one, but over top of it, Boato successfully locating there on the outer half. Gets ahead 0-1. Boato again from the stretch. Trying to tempt Marchese to chase outside. He's not having it. One and one now. And a low strike call from Matsuda. Cardinals will take it any way they can get it. The count's 1-2 now. And that's not to say we have a great view from up here. That could have been over the heart of the plate. 1-2 is up and away. Bettini finally able to finagle a strike call out of the low delivery from Boato. He'll do it again now on 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. And that is a huge second out. Marchese is frustrated with himself going back to the dugout.
First time I've ever seen anybody punch a bat.
Yeah, that was unorthodox. I don't know what... I mean, those stories about major league pitchers breaking their hands punching walls,
yeah,
it happens way more often than you think. So I got to think the hitter equivalent of that,
yeah,
punching
pretty
the
much.
bat, wouldn't do you any favors.
It's not the bat's fault.
No.
I guess I don't think it is.
Yeah, maybe there's something we don't know. As Tyson Gom, the DH batting ninth today, fouls that one away.
Josh is having way too much fun behind us here with the sound effects.
And the sound effects in 2025 here at Bernie Arbour have stepped up in a big way.
Yep.
It's like our very own Try Not to Laugh challenge here as commentators.
Yep.
Well,
Well, it wouldn't be Friday Night Baseball if I didn't break Reed at least once. Come on.
Everybody was having too much fun up here on Friday.
Yeah.
Was jealous, had FOMO. Vibes are always high on opening day weekend.
Yeah. Well, just give me a time to warm up to you, and get to know you, and then we can figure out which get you going on.
The 1-1 to Gom is down and away.
Gom is 0 for 3 in the contest. A strikeout, and a ground out, and a flyout.
He fouls that one back. So despite the 3-run deficit here, Neil, the Cardinals have multiple times tight-roped their way out of runners in scoring position, less than 2-out situations.
Yeah, they have, and it's just, maybe that's a good thing. That's what you build off of going into the next game and everything else, especially on Thursday night. And plus, still got lots of baseball to play on this one, though.
Correct, yes.
The 2-2 from Boato is up high.
But that window is closing. You got Mendez and your Rodriguez looming large here.
Yeah, lots of baseball is a cliche that applies pretty much everywhere, but 9 outs can go a lot quicker against these Jackfish than your average game. And that's all the Cardinals have to work with right now. The payoff pitch to Gom, and strike 3 called. Matsuda rings him up on the high fastball. He started to go around, and I don't think he did, but it was in there anyhow.
Yeah.
Great job by Chris Boato.
I think that's what Gom asked the plate umpire as he was leaving was it on the swing or was it just in the zone? I think he pointed at the plate, so I'm guessing he was on in the zone.
Yeah, Boato fired up leaving the field. Keeps it at 3-0. 7th inning stretch time here at Bernie Arbour.
Dominguez now in the pitch.
And it is indeed Jose Dominguez taking over after 6 shutout from Euclides Layer.
The former San Diego Padre.
He also spent some time with the LA Dodgers, the Tampa Bay Rays. Big league career spanning from June 2013 to October 2016. From San Pedro de Macorís, which is again the hotbed
for baseball, that's for sure.
Baseball mecca. Just a beautiful town. Baseball is such an integral part of its fabric, of its history. Luis Bernardo's from there.
Number 45, Jose Dominguez.
Davey Mendez from nearby there as well.
Dominguez is going to face Salazo, Williams, and Jaden Brown.
One walk, 9 strikeouts, 2 hits.
That's tidy work there from Euclides Layer's 6 strikeout innings. Our statistician Nate Sager telling us 74 pitches, 9 Ks, 2 walks. Just a couple of hits.
Just a couple of hits.
The Tommy Reyes Cruz ground ball single and the Tyler Duncan frozen rope double are all that the Cardinals have to show for themselves today on the offensive side of things. They'll look to change that here against Dominguez.
And Duncan had the only walk against him as well.
For the plate, the third baseman, number 17, John Solazo.
Dominguez wasn't completely wild in his time in the big leagues, but 4 walks per 9 is above average.
Yep.
So we'll see if patience is a virtue here for the Cardinals as they look to find their way on the scoreboard here. And as we said earlier, 9 outs is a lot to work with, and they had a big comeback victory on Friday, but Dominguez and Mendez are staring you down here. And perhaps something in between, as it looks like left-hander Caleb Verstocki is warming up. Maybe we'll have a...
Pursic, yeah.
Maybe we'll have a...
He snuck into the outfield last night.
Yeah. He, like Workington, a lefty reliever who can play the outfield if needed. Maybe we'll have a quick little side quest before Davey Mendez here.
Well, usually in a situation like this, you would see Brandon Underhill, but he pitched last night, so he's not available.
Underhill followed. Fine start for Ben Abram. 0-2, Solazo taps it just foul.
Right off the end of that bat.
Salazzo had trouble with the changeup from Euclides Lyer. He was fanned on it twice, and there he takes down to stay alive. Salazzo, of course, a longtime veteran of the Toronto Maple Leafs, as we've touched on numerous times, but once upon a time, long ago, he was a Hamilton Thunderbird.
That he was. So he gets this one on the right side. Great stop by Marchese. He's up with it. He'll step on the bag himself to win the foot race, and Salazzo's retired on the 3 unassisted.
He's a lot of ground balls his way, Marchese has.
Stepping up to the plate, first baseman number 8, Josh Williams.
So Josh Williams playing first base today in light of the maintenance day for Tanner Rempel following the mild hamstring injury on Friday. Tanner should be back soon. But in the meantime, Williams is going to see the field, which should be a rare occurrence this season by and large. For my money, he's done an adamant job over there. Swinging and missing at strike 1 there. Again, Williams will chase. But when he connects, can he hit it a long way? Dominguez, no doubt, keeping that in mind as he's feeding him a steady diet of off-speed down and away. Jaden Brown on deck for the Cardinals, still trying to find that groove he was in the school day games. Williams takes a ball and he tries and work himself back in this count here. A 1-2 from Dominguez, swung on and missed strike 3. That is a beautiful changeup. Bottom fell right out of it.
That's a quick at bat for Williams, that's for sure.
Stop number 6, Jaden Brown.
As if Jaden Brown didn't make a good enough impression during the school day games. Anyone who's walking out to some sweet Al Green gets some brownie points in my book. 2 outs. Nobody on as Jaden takes low, ball 1. So with a guy like Brown who's constantly swinging as fast as he possibly can, it's hot and it's cold. He can carry a lineup when he's on, as we saw last week. But he's still searching for that first game-breaking hit. And he has a chance to set up Yoki Pena here if he can get on, as the Cardinals will try to mount a 2-out rally here in this 7th. Salazzo by the groundout, Williams by the strikeout. 2 gone here in the Cardinals half of inning number 7. Count 1-2 now on Jaden Brown. Verstocki has stopped throwing down there for Welland. Connor Corey still throwing for Hamilton. He figures to get the 8th after 1 2/3 of work from Boada.
Got down to first, did not go around, says the umpire.
Now Brown pulled up when he saw what was coming there. 2-2 from Dominguez. Brown hammers a foul.
Oof.
Goodness.
Oh, ping ponged off the late pull out there in the fence.
Look out.
The gentleman standing right beside there got a rude awakening.
Now, anybody be more awake after that. Brown kept that one fair. That would have been a missile down the line. 2-2, fouled out that way again. This time a lazy pop in behind the silver stands. Brown hanging tough here against Dominguez. Trying to start something here. And he hits it on a line into left, and he will start something as it's past the dive of Grayson Barrett. Brown is on his way to second base, and he will be in there with a 2-out double.
Looks like Barrett committed to the dive before the ball came down, and
a little slow to get up here, a little ginger.
Yeah. He lost his footing.
It looks okay now. They were doing a ton of work on the grass here at Bernie Arbour last week to try and get it ready for opening day. Grass is growing fast. Obviously, dandelions are out in full force. It is the spring.
Yep.
And it was pristine on Friday, but just in a matter of 48 hours, the dandelions are all the way back.
Plus, we got a lot of rain overnight, Friday night, too, so yeah, it didn't help.
Brown caught that one on the screws, and he's rewarded. Yoki Pena now with the tying run on deck in the form of Tommy Ray's Cruz.
Pena is 0 for 2 so far, 3 unassisted, and a ground out to the second baseman.
One 0 is hit in the air to deep right center field. Giving chase is Brandon Hoope. He's at the track, and he makes the catch right in front of the wall.
And now the wind picks up.
Of course. Yoki Pena just missed a home run. Hit it deep into the alley and right in front of the Liunas sign. Brandon Hoope makes the catch. Cardinals looked like they were on the verge of something special that inning, but it is cut short by Hurricane Bernie.
Yep.
So the score remains 3-0. We are through 7 here in Hamilton.
We'll take a quick pause in the action and come back with the 8th inning when we come back.
Stepping up to the plate, shortstop number 4, Jonah Wiseman.
Welcome back to Bernie Arbour Stadium. Top of inning number 8 set to get set underway. The Jackfish lead the Cardinals 3-0 in both teams' second game of the regular season and their first head-to-head in the brand new CHCH QEW Cup. If the score holds, the Jackfish would take game 1 of that season series and put themselves in pole position.
So the question I asked was, how are they going to settle the tie if it winds up in a 3-3 series split?
We will cross that bridge if we get to it.
I'm okay with a home run derby, you know, something like that. Not a coin toss, not.
We'll see who wins the home run derby in July at Bernie Arbour. How's that?
That
if
works.
the Cardinal wins it and it's a tie in the season series,
Yep.
I think it's only fair.
It's only fair.
Connor Corey on in the ball game, his 2025 debut. Facing Jonah Wisner, who steps in for the 5th time today. Wisner hits that one on the ground to third. Salazzo up with it. Throw to first in time. Corey, fastball, changeup, slider, and as I was talking about the reverse splits earlier, to illustrate what I mean about that changeup playing well to lefties, even though he's right-handed, right-handed batters hit 300 against Connor Corey last year. Left-handers were at a much worse 161. So you see the effect of that kind of pitch. Corbin Peters, when he was up in the booth with me at one point last year, deemed it the nastiest pitch on the team. That was a fun day. Corbin and I got to nerd out about pitching. Corey goes with the fastball that time. Not sure where it missed, but it's ball 1 to Morello.
Well, we got a little bit of tilted scoreboards going on now. The home teams have come back and made a ball game of it. The Kitchener Panthers have rallied and now lead that one 8-7 over the Barnstormers in the top of the 8th inning.
Wow.
London Majors hanging on now to a 2-run lead over the Maple Leafs. It's 11-9 in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Brantford Red Sox are running away with that one. At Armour, I understand, it is now 8-1 for them over the Royals.
Yeah, give the Red Sox credit. They were a pesky team on Friday, putting together some good at-bats. They had a lot of turnover in the offseason. They lost Gus Wilson, but some additions all across the board. Has a 4-pitch walk there issued by Corey to Morello. So we'll have a 1-out base runner for Jake Sanford. Brantford missed the playoffs last year as the 9th seed out of the 9 teams in this league, but this year, if they can get off to a decent start, they will put themselves in a good position to avoid the same fate this year.
Yep.
Down in the Cardinal bullpen, Casey Howard was doing some light toss with a hoodie on, but he has since sat down. Fernando Rodney is now venturing out that way alongside Ramon Sanchez. First pitch slider from Corey in the dirt to Sanchez. Bettini blocked it, and it was right in front of him. So Morello was kind of frozen between first and second for a bit, but he ultimately decides to retreat.
Looks like this Rodney just went down for company. That looks like it. I don't think he's warm. Oh, he might be. You never know. You never know.
He did say he was willing to throw every day.
Yep.
Sanford takes that one back up the middle for a line drive base hit. Morello makes the turnaround second, but stops there. Back-to-back base runners for the Jackfish following the ground out by Wisner to lead off the inning. And Robert Mullen, for the second consecutive at-bat, is going to hit with 2 runners on. Last time in this situation, he flew out to Tyler Duncan in center. That ended the inning. Corey's going to look for another ground ball now. That little tapper to third base by Wisner. If he could serve up another one of those, this time from the pull side from Mullen, that would be optimal for Hamilton. And Mullen with a check swing tapper to first. Williams is just going to take it himself and step on first.
Mullen with the excuse me swing, and that's an out. But it moves the runners up under 90 feet here now with 2 away.
And that's been a theme today. The first pitch breaking balls have worked out well for the pitchers.
Yeah.
We're not in the age anymore where it's just start them off with a fastball. There's get me over off-speed pitches everywhere you look now. And both teams have used it to their advantage. Pitch sequencing, of course, an ever-evolving art and science. Grayson Barrett takes that one down and in for ball 1. So there's 2 gone in the inning now thanks to that quick ground out by Mullen. But if Barrett can find some grass here, the Jackfish will start to blow the doors off this game with those 2 runners on, Morello and Sanford. He hits it up the middle off Corey, and it rolls over to Reyes Cruz at second, and he's not going to have a play.
Okay. Connor Corey wanted that baseball back, a little angry with himself after that one. But the Jackfish get another run. It's now 4-0.
Corey not happy there, but Morello will come to score. He got what he wanted. It was a ground ball back to the mound on 1 bounce, but it hits off his arm and dies in the dirt over nearby second base.
Give Grayson Barrett the RBI single.
And it looks like Barrett's being lifted right now for a pinch runner as Caleb Verstocki found himself in the outfield last night. He was warming up in the bullpen earlier, and now he's pinch running.
Now he's pinch running.
Man of many talents.
He'll probably be going into left field for the next inning anyways.
Heard that name pronounced a lot of different ways, but Verstocki's the one that's been most recent, I guess.
Oh, well, last night Alec Murray was calling him Furistake, so that's where I'm going to stick with. Tell him told otherwise, and I'm sure my phone will blaze if that's wrong.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the private eyes will let us know, but in any case, apologies to Caleb if we've mispronounced his name. Man on the corners and 2 out, 4-0 now thanks to that unfortunate deflected infield single. Corey steps off there. And are they going to call it?
Yeah, they are going to call the balk.
He did flinch before making the pickoff move to first. And the Jackfish are going to make it 5-0.
Alrighty.
Connor Corey is talking with Tak Matsoud about what he did wrong there. I don't know if he came fully set, but there was something strange about the pickoff motion. He stepped off, looked, flinched, and then he kind of did a double take before he made the move over to first.
Yep.
So the score is now 5-0 as a result of that balk. Kind of unfortunate because Corey, second and third, 2 outs. He got the ground out from Mullen. And then a series of unfortunate events led to those 2 runs scoring, but he gets Houpe on the ground ball here to get out of it. But not before the Jackfish add 2.
After a day out with your friends and it comes time to hit the road, you can be proud of yourself for always driving sober. No matter where you are or who you're spending time with, if you plan on driving, don't plan on drinking. We rely on our roads to bring us together. That's why it's so important to do our part to keep our communities safe. Help stop impaired driving before it happens. Every day, everywhere, because all roads lead to home. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
There are 2 wolves inside every man. One is obsessed with watching movies. The other is addicted to opening booster packs.
And you can watch both of them on Cable 14. Are you a card shark or a movie buff? Or both? Now why not check out Breaking Pack every Monday at 8:30 p.m. and Hammer Day 20 every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. starring yours truly, Steven Sobot, available only on Cable 14.
No amount of studying can guarantee a gambling win. Find tips for safer play at gamblingisrandom.ca.
Welcome back to Bernie Arbour Memorial Stadium. Apologies for the technical difficulties if you're watching along at home.
5-0 is your score here in the home half of the 8th inning. Jackfish adding a couple more runs to the top half of the 8th. And a little more insurance runs, and Davey Mendez looks like he's not going to warm up anymore out there. But maybe he's going to play catch or something. We'll see here.
Well, they could, just to be mean.
I don't think it's being mean. I think it's
a non-safe situation for Davey.
Yeah, man, but I think Davey also just needs some work, too, between now and...
Yeah, that's true.
Thursday.
Get his arm warmed up and ready. First pitch to Tommy Reyes-Cruz, who's hit safely in each of his first 2 games as a Cardinal.
And we do have Fernando Rodney getting loose in the bullpen. That still sounds so weird to say that.
Yep. As we said, Rodney is willing to throw every day.
Yep.
The age is not impacting his desire to work, his desire to pitch. Quite the tumultuous night on Friday for Fernando.
It was an adventure, yes.
He got 2 quick outs, and then, well, the train fell off the tracks. Down to their last strike, Tim Hollick hit a 3-run homer as Tommy Reyes-Cruz pops out harmlessly at third for the first out of the inning. Tim Hollick, down with the Red Sox down to their last strike, hit a 3-run homer to give the Red Sox an 8-7 lead. Neil, I went back and watched the film, and Rodney did leave the changeup up, but it's not like he was missing egregiously over the middle during that AB or any of them. He hit his spot. Fattini was set up on the corner, down and away, and that's where he hit. Hollick just took it for a ride. Maybe the stuff isn't where it can be to a point where Rodney can rely on the changeup right on right, especially in the zone. Maybe you have to think of some sequencing tweaks there, but it's not like he was just grooving him in there. As with 1 out here, the Cardinals are going to be going to a pinch hitter. Andrew Johnston is on deck. Nico Kikatos right now hitting in Brendan Daly's spot. He subbed in defensively a few innings ago, and now Johnston looks like he's going to bat for Raquelbin DeCastro. DeCastro, again, was healthy enough to DH today. He's not playing the field, but his at-bats have not been productive to this point. The Cardinals need some pop. Johnston going to see if he can recreate the moment he had last Victoria Day Sunday against these Jackfish. 3-1 to Nico Kikatos, bounced on the ground to second. Luther plays it off the hop and on his back foot whips it to first. in time for the second out.
4-3 will go to put out, 2 away now here. As Andrew Johnston's going to come up and take a at bat here.
Cardinals number 9, Andrew Johnston.
Johnston had quite the offseason transformation. Lost a decent amount of weight, trying to become more flexible back there at catcher, and perhaps more versatile in the field so the Cardinals can use him in other defensive spots too if need be. And the one worry that you have with that is, okay, you want to make sure the power doesn't go away when a guy slims down that much, but Johnston in his final exhibition game against the junior Cardinals was hitting a ton of balls out toward the fence. He hit a home run, he hit another couple doubles off the wall. "1-0 is down and in. So Johnston taking his first cuts of the regular season here for Hamilton. Number 2 catcher on the depth chart behind Bettini and ahead of Ethan Martin. As he takes a called strike in there, Dominguez clawing back now, 2-1. As a piece of paper or something has emerged from the Cardinals dugout. Owen Boone ran out to try and get it, but then it blew out of his reach and he decided, no.
Away. It's like, no, okay, somebody else can get it now.
I'm not going to put myself in the line of fire.
Yeah, the manager or the umpire is going to get that one himself.
Settles down right in front of the grass there for Matsuda to pick up. Don't put yourself in harm's way, Owen. 3-1 from Dominguez. Johnston chops it foul. So this is the leadoff spot in the order, Kelvin DeCastro's spot, so Tyler Duncan would be next if this payoff pitch goes Johnston's way. Rodney continuing to throw in the bullpen. 3-2, hit on the ground, foul down the third base side.
Johnston doing a good job of being a spoiler up here.
And that's another thing I think he's done better at. Johnston, while he had the raw power last year, he wasn't the most disciplined. If he can see pitches, foul off pitchers' pitches, make him work for that third strike. And that's something the Cardinals are trying to instill more up and down the lineup this year. 3-2, popped up, foul ground. Marchese hustling over, but it'll tail away. Wind picking up here again at Bernie Arbour. It's clouding over.
Davies got the sweater off and getting loose.
Yeah. So save situation or not, Davey Mendez looks like he'll be coming in this game. How about that for a ninth inning battle? Fernando Rodney and Davey Mendez.
Two of the best to ever throw the baseball in this league.
We'll do it again on 3-2. Dominguez into Johnston. Hit on the ground a second. Luther's going to have another play here. And 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. Jose Dominguez, 2 clean innings of relief.
Nothing across the board for both sides. It is
we will go to the top of the ninth. And as we look out to our left here in the Cardinal bullpen, Fernando Rodney throws his last warm-up pitch, flips the ball, and for the second time in his IBL career, the Major League veteran, 951 games, 327 saves, 3.80 ERA, actively on the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Santo Domingo, Fernando Rodney. 7 years in Detroit, 2 in Tampa, 2 in Seattle, 2 in Anaheim, 2 in Oakland, and then stops in Arizona, Minnesota, Miami, Washington, San Diego, and Wrigley Field in Chicago along the way.
Still get chills.
This ain't your dad's IBL.
No, this isn't my dad's IBL, that's for sure.
So Rodney will look to redeem himself after the blown save turned win on Friday night. Detroit Tigers reporter from MLB.com, Jason Beck, was here on Friday to do a story on Fernando. That was published on MLB.com on Saturday. We thank Jason for coming out.
Yeah, it was great to sit down and chat with him before the game. I felt like I was talking his ear off at some point, so I just kind of I got to go do a couple other things here, but yeah, here's my email to you, more questions and everything else, and it was just great to pick his brain as far as what Rodney and everything else has been as a player, as he was with the Tigers and everything else. And then after the game, Jason said he's the same guy.
He was good in the booth. I liked hearing him talk. It's always nice when a critically acclaimed member of the Baseball Writers Association of America makes a stop here. And I was talking to him a bunch pregame and postgame, and Jason had a big smile on his face the whole time. He really seemed to love his time here at Bernie Arbour. So once again, we appreciate the coverage.
Yes, we do. I hope you come back and bring a few friends next time, please.
I'm sure it helped that the Detroit Tigers were in Toronto this weekend.
Yeah, I think it didn't hurt, that's for sure.
Nice little convenient part of the schedule there, as it'll be Luther, Marchese, and Gom due up to face Rodney. The hat is tilted sideways. A Major League legend.
Still got the sticker on it?
Yes, he does. First pitch to Luther, fouled away, left side. Again, it's clouding over here. The wind is picking up. It is a little breezy up here. And we're not quite out of the woods yet. It's not fully summer here at Bernie Arbour. And again, especially for these, less so for Rodney. He's a Major League veteran. He pitched in Detroit. But for these Dominican guys, it's colder as Luther ropes a single into right field. And the leadoff man is on against Rodney.
Stepping up to the plate in the first base, number 34, Josh.
Fernando still trying to find it here as he gets his feet wet with IBL action. He had a clean 7-pitch save against the London Majors in the school day game last week. Another clean inning at London the week before. Spins a off-speed pitch in there for strike one against Josh Marchese. Luther, after his first hit of the game, is off first. The 0-1, just up and away. Rodney made his Major League debut in May 2002. I wasn't born yet. And now here he is. Luther's running the pitch in the dirt, and it skips on Bettini, so it'll be an easy stolen base. Bettini saw Luther running out of the corner of his eye, and the pitch from Rodney was in the dirt, and he tried to make the motion of transferring from glove to arm before the ball was even there. Skipped up over his head, and no play. So Marchese now ahead in the count. Rodney looks back at Luther a second and then looks in. Fires the fastball up and away, 3-1. And again, with the base open, having seen what Marchese can do with the bat, I'm sure a walk wouldn't be the worst thing in the world in this situation. What a scene this is, with Rodney on the mound and Mendez lurking in the background warming up.
Yeah. Didn't have that on my bingo card last year.
It's a new day. Rodney loses Marchese on the full count offering. First and second now with nobody gone.
Up to the plate, designated hitter number 25, Tyson Gom.
Tyson Gom, the number 9 hitter.
Gom is 0 for 4 on the contest. A pair of strikeouts. A ground out to shortstop and a fly out to left field.
Gom, a Mississauga native, went to Port Credit Secondary School in Mississauga. Takes strike one. Gom graduated high school in 2021, so that puts into perspective how young he was when Rodney made his Major League debut. Worlds are colliding here at Bernie Arbour. Jonah Wisner on deck if it would be the 6th time through the order for the Welland Jackfish, starting with Wisner. They've sent lots of men to the plate today. Stephen Hospital warming up down in the Cardinal bullpen. Should Rodney get into any further trouble here, as Gom works the count now to 2-1. Rodney with a World Series ring, having played a part in that Washington Nationals World Series club in 2019.
That one slides inside here. And Luis Bernardo is going to have a quick conversation with Fernando.
And of course, this is nothing new. Bernardo was the connection that helped bring Rodney all the way out this way. They're good friends. They know each other dating back to their days coming up in the Dominican Republic.
Rather quick conversation, that's for sure.
I mean, he doesn't need to tell Fernando how to pitch.
No. More like, hey, you okay? You got a ground ball? Let's go.
Advantage Gom in the count, 3-1. Rodney's pitch fouled away. Bounced off the screen behind home plate and harmlessly behind the dugout. So the count is full. Rodney's still searching for his first out of the inning. Gom hits it foul again, shading toward the bleachers this time. Everybody's okay out there, thankfully.
Yep.
And we'll do it again. Another payoff to Gom, and it's high.
That'll load the bases here.
Yeah. Single walk, and Rodney in some hot water here with the top of the order coming back up for the 6th time through the order. Hospital continues to warm for the Cardinals. Rodney didn't completely lose it on Friday, but he did have a couple walks that day too. It's not like he lost full command of the strike zone, but today that has been a problem, and the Jackfish are going to keep taking the longer that he is showing that he's unable to find it. 1-0 is way outside. Weisner's going to be in auto take mode here. During his time in the major leagues, Rodney walked 4.5 batters per 9, which is, again, a little above average, so it's not like he was a complete command artist. Weisner fouls that one off. It was the stuff that was the moneymaker for Rodney, the fastball in the mid-90s in his heyday, low 90s nowadays. The changeup, slow tumbling changeup, was his bread and butter. He did have a slider too, but after his radio hit on Blair and Barker this week, he admitted it's not always there. And that was a vintage Fernando Rodney changeup. All of a sudden, I'm back on my couch as a kid watching him pitch at Tropicana Field. That was a thing of beauty.
The Trop.
So the count now 2-2 on Weisner. Swung on and missed strike 3. And Fernando Rodney's first IBL strikeout, 943 in the major leagues, and now 1 in the Intercounty Baseball League.
Stepping up to the plate, center fielder number 11, Gio Morello.
Gonna bring up Gio Morello now with 1 away. Bases still loaded here. 5-0 the Jackfish leading this one.
So Rodney's now in a position where a well-placed ground ball could get him out of this. Which would be no small feat. Bases loaded, nobody out. He nearly yanked that one all the way to the backstop, but Vittini comes out of the stance to block it. The 1-0 from Rodney. Morello swats it foul. Look out. And you see Giulio Vittini as a former Pittsburgh Pirates prospect. He is clearly a product of that new age teaching, where even with runners on, He's got that one knee stance behind the plate. Big league teams, of course, adopting that strategy across the league the past few years in an effort to better frame pitches and buy strikes. If you buy strikes, you buy outs.
Makes sense to me.
But of course, it is controversial with a runner on third. It makes it harder to block the ball in the event of a wild pitch. Teeny got that one from Rodney, though, at the start of this at-bat. Counts now 2-1 on Morello. Ball 3. Nowhere to put him now. Jake Sanford waiting on deck. Hospital in the home bullpen. Mendez still in the away bullpen. The 3-1 to Morello. Fouled back. And it's full.
Morello not mad with himself on that one. Just missed it.
With Rodney right now, it's just a matter of familiarity. A guy who's pitching as many big games as he has, nerves are not an issue.
No.
He can keep a steady heartbeat with the best of them. You can't be a closer in the big leagues for 17 years and not do that. Nevertheless, the 3-2 is high.
It's going to walk home a run. It's now 6-0 for the Jackfish.
So Rodney, the rocky start to his IBL tenure continues. Relievers are volatile. Rodney's still searching for consistency right now. Game 1 of this QEW Cup in the top of the 9th. Jackfish now leads 6-0 after that bases loaded walk to Morello. Sanford takes ball 1 down and in. Rodney misses up and away again with that fastball. The count's now 2-0. The Cardinals are still all lunged over the top padding of that dugout, watching intently. Because even if he's not at his finest form right now, they know what they're watching, and they can recognize the importance of it. Sanford looks at another one go by, and it's 3-0. Rodney in danger of walking another one here. Sanford fouls that high fastball back.
Like they had the green light there in 3-0.
Marchese at third, Gom at second, Morello at first. Welland up by 6. Rodney trying to work his way out of trouble. Sanford ahead 3-1. Fouls another one back, and back to even now. Big payoff coming up here. The former Yankee prospect versus the former Major League veteran. Payoff to Sanford is popped way up in our direction. And no thud on the roof.
No thud.
It made its way behind us.
And a loud thud Friday night.
No artificial hail yet. The Bernie Arbour press box this afternoon. Ball, 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 foul, foul, foul.
Almost had one come up in the press box on Friday night, though.
Yeah. Pitch number 7 is waved out and missed by Sanford. Rodney pulls the string. I will never get over seeing that changeup.
No.
My goodness.
I'm going to have to text Jake about that one later.
So the weenie man of the game has struck out again.
We're all out of hot dogs.
Yeah.
And the concession stand's closed. Sorry.
Yeah, it's top of the 9th. There are 2 outs, but.
Yeah. If there was weenies to be had, they'd be 50% off.
Oh, yeah. Robert Mullen waves at that one and misses. Rodney jumps ahead, strike 1. So after loading the bases, Rodney strikes out Jake Sanford. Robert Mullen takes that fastball down and away. Counts even now, 1-1. With 2 outs, the defense is shaded straight up for the Cardinals, despite the bases being loaded. Rodney's delivery is hit in the air to center field, but Duncan and Pena converge on it. Duncan tracks it down, and the inning is over. So Fernando Rodney walks in a run, but dances around what could have been much worse additional damage.
Take one final look at the Rawlings Canada out-of-town scoreboard. Once my computer decides to refresh the screen here. We do have a final score in from Brantford. The Red Sox beat the Guelph Royals 8-1. Royals dropped to 0-2 on the season. Red Sox getting their first win. Took a while last season before they did that, but yes, they are now 1-2 on the year. That's the only final so far. Back in Kitchener at Jack Couch Park, the Kitchener Panthers have rallied from down 8-1 and now lead this one 11-8.
My goodness, 10 unanswered. Wow.
That's now in the bottom of the 8th inning. In the top of the 8th inning in Toronto, Dominico Field, the London Majors have increased their lead. It's now 12-9.
Yeah.
That one is in the top of the 8th inning.
It ain't over till it's over is a saying that was made especially for that game.
Oh yeah. Like I think the next shirt we have to put in the merch store is "No lead is safe" in the IBL or something like that.
Yeah. Words to live by. The Hamilton Cardinals are hoping that's true, as Davey Mendez is about as dominant as they come.
Got some young kids doing a little bit of dance party down in front of us here.
And Hamilton's at 4 left on.
And Anderson down.
1-4.
Must have realized the camera was on and they both sat down. But on the hill is, no surprise at all, number 41. Davey closed the door, Mendez.
His career ERA is just over 1.
Yeah, it's I think 1.07 or something. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Fastball in the upper 90s.
He's sporting a little new do on the mound now. The haircut.
Yes. Yeah. The dreads are gone.
Almost didn't recognize him out there for a second. Until I realized what the number was, and it's like, yeah, it's the same guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same deadly fastball.
Mendez, a former Rays prospect, pitched in rookie ball in the Pirates and Padres systems, too. And then post-pandemic, he's made stops in the Dominican Winter League, Mexico. This past winter, he pitched in the Colombia Winter League, 20 innings. Only 3 earned runs allowed. Makes sense.
Yep. He's still Davey. He's facing Tyler Duncan, Josiah Bettini, and Jonathan Salazzo here in the 9th inning as the Cardinals looking to break the goose egg.
Yeah, these are the guys you want up if you're going to have to face Davey Mendez. Who else but Tyler Duncan to lead it off in the bottom of the 9th here? Last season, Mendez and Duncan had an epic battle in the 9th inning. In that 2-run game that I mentioned earlier, the Ortega-Akatska pitchers duel. The count was run full, I believe, but Mendez got the best of him and blew a fastball by him to strike him out.
Just like he did there.
Yep. Now I gotta say, I find myself straddling the line between traditional and new age fan. I can appreciate all aspects of the game, but a classic matchup between power hitter and power pitcher is just as good as it gets, even if the score is what it is now. Mendez ahead of Duncan 0-2. And the delivery is down and away.
Definitely on the other box from that one. That seems how to be a lot of teams are definitely going to pitch to Duncan. They're going to try to set him up inside and then work outside and just hope he stay out of the middle.
One-two is up and away. You'd be more likely to be struck by lightning twice in one day than to score 6 runs on Davey Mendez. But in the case that happens, Casey Howard is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
Yeah, just in case.
You never know.
Yep. I almost felt like the Red Sox were resolved to the fact that Rodney was on the hill and they didn't have anybody warming up, and all of a sudden when Hulk hit that home run, 3 of them dashed down there in a hurry.
Yep. Well, there's going to be a bottom of the 9th. Everybody move. Tyler Duncan's done a nice job to work this count from 0-2 all the way to full. Josiah Bettini waiting on deck. Mendez finally has the sign he wants from Mullen. payoff is fouled away. And this is turning into one of those classic battles. From 0-2 to full and then a foul off. Duncan is staring down the barrel of pitch number 7 in this at-bat against Mendez.
So going back to that Brantford Red Sox game against the Guelph Royals, Pedro de los Santos, no surprise. 8 innings pitched, allowed 4 hits, just a run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts.
Right on. Good for Pedro and his new digs. 3-2 is hit on the ground. Funny hop to Luther, but no problem. Throw to first in time, 1 gone.
Duncan is retired on the 4-3, 1 away now for July Bettini.
Looks like reigning IBL Pitcher of the Year, Jacob Cush, took the loss.
He did take the loss.
Interesting. Cush had these Cardinals number last season.
He had a lot of guys' numbers last season.
Yeah. Rough inning for Brandon Deans there, too, by the looks of it.
Yeah, looks like he only got to pitch 2/3 of an inning.
Things all sideways for Guelph that time. Deans and Cush normally as dependable as they come, as July Bettini takes the Davy Mendez fastball up and in.
Well, even last year, the Red Sox played the Royals tough, especially at Arnold Anderson Stadium.
Right.
And then on Canada Day, they pulled the upset at Hastings Stadium.
1-0 swung on and missed, and that's basically all I need to know. If you could show anybody one pitch to summarize what Davy Mendez is all about, that would be it.
Yep.
Here's my fastball. Hit it. I dare you. He's shaking Mullen off multiple times here.
I think he just wants to throw fastballs.
Yep. 6-run game, he wants to let it eat. And Bettini has...
Oh, now Mendez has got the sticker on his hat, too, so I guess he's taking after Rodney.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe it's the trend.
Maybe.
Maybe I got to go dig up one end of the garbage and put it back on my Cardinals hat.
Or just get a new hat.
1-2 pitch is a breaking ball in the dirt that Bettini swings and misses at, but it gets all the way back into the on-deck circle from Robert Mullen, so Bettini will reach on the strikeout.
Mendez out there smiling.
Well, when you make a guy look that silly and he reaches first base, all you can really do is smile.
True. So it's a K and a wild pitch. Allows him to get to first base. And the conductor will come on with a base runner and board at first base.
First pitch to Salazzo's down and in. When Davy Mendez pitched in the Dominican Winter League, he pitched for Toros del Este, based in La Romana. They are the reigning Dominican Winter League champions. Those of you following baseball down south in the winter, it was a 7-game series. Tampa Bay Rays infielder Junior Caminero won it in the top of the 9th with a tie-breaking homer in that deciding 7th game. Most games in that series were decided by 1 run. Half of them went to extra innings. I think if a series like that was played in Major League Baseball, fans might be calling it the greatest 7-game series ever played.
Definitely would be right up there, that's for sure. Shades of the 54 series.
Yep. The runners-up in the Dominican Winter League were the Tigres del Licey. They are the evil empire, I guess, of the Dominican Winter League, if you could draw a comparison, as Salazzo has that one in on his hands. And he chopped it up in the air to third. Sanford played it. It turns out that it was on a hop, so they go to second and get the force out, and that's it. So 2 gone in the inning now, and the game is now in the hands of Josh Williams.
That it is. Salazzo reaches on the fielder's choice as Bettini is forced out at 5-4 on that put out. For those of you scoring at home.
By contrast, this is a much less dramatic at-bat for Josh Williams in the bottom of the 9th than it was on Friday.
Yes, it is.
He delivered when the lights were brightest, yeah.
Still got a job to do, though.
Yep. Can't take an at-bat off. And Williams blasts this one to left field, hustling over his Barrett. He's under it, and in foul ground, he makes the catch. Just shy of the warning track, and that is your ball game.
That is actually Caleb Fueller's-Stake that made the catch out there and left.
Thanks, Neil, for correcting me. Feuerstock came in.
No problems.
And on that note,
This afternoon's final score.
that wraps things up here this afternoon at Bernie Arbour. Final score, Welland 6, Hamilton nothing. The Jackfish ride a 6-inning shutout effort from Euclides Lyer. The former Chicago White Sox and Cincinnati Reds prospect in his triumphant return to the IBL 6 years after his debut to a 6-0 victory. Dominguez and Mendez also contributing to this shutout effort. Home runs from Robert Mullen and Josh Marchese also played a part. And in the first game of the CHCH QEW Cup, the Jackfish take it. The Cardinals dropped to 1-1 on the season. The Jackfish improved to 2-0. And the next time both these teams are in action, we'll be right back up against each other, this time at Welland.
Twenty laps the distance of this feature event, so drivers want to sort of be selective, Jerry.
Hamilton Chamber is celebrating its 180th anniversary this year. Congratulations.
Okay, cheers to wellness.
To wellness.
And creativity.
What a beautiful toast. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
After a day out with your friends, and it comes time to hit the road, you can be proud of yourself for always driving sober. No matter where you are or who you're spending time with, if you plan on driving, don't plan on drinking. We rely on our roads to bring us together. That's why it's so important to do our part to keep our communities safe. Help stop impaired driving before it happens.